Soto.
All right, we are live. What's going on, everybody? Oh, it's Dan Tom here, the Tech and Neck podcast. This won't be an official episode, although this will be on podcast feeds, hopefully, for y'all who want to check it out after. But I'm here with my man, Ant Walker, at Ant Walker MMA. If you want to find him on Twitter, at Dan Tom MMA for me. Ant, say what's up, man.
What's going on, man? It's definitely good to try this out with you, man. Some alternative commentary for all those savages out there who love to see people getting punched in the face for money.
Absolutely. This will be alternative commentary for UFC 283. We're getting set for Burns Magny, which is the third to last, so we'll be with you for the last three cards as we try this out. Apologies in advance for any technical difficulties. They will probably be on my end more than anything because of my computer stuff, so bear with me, but appreciate you guys. Going to share this link out. And, but yeah, we're going to keep it flexible, you know. We're not going to be too worried about who's, color commentary, who's play-by-play. We're both capable of both, but we both need reps on kind of both and just commentary in general, both me and Ant. So we appreciate you guys sticking around while we get those in.
Yes, for sure. I'm really excited to see these fights tonight. Like, we do have some good action matchups to top off the card. We've had tons of action leading up to this moment, but I think now it's going to get real dicey. Burns Magny is one that I'm quite excited to see what Burns has to offer. Since we're all have come tonight, I'm going to try to steer away from giving fight night predictions and whatnot. I'll try to stick to being as neutral as possible, but I'm very particularly interested in what Burns has to offer this evening, considering just how close he's been to getting back to the title shot and sort of the roadblocks he's faced in the meantime.
Absolutely, and obviously I make picks and plays for the show and the podcast and the channel, so there will always be bias that I will admit to. Obviously, if I was doing a commentary for an actual show, I would not be even touching any of that stuff. So just so you guys know, I'm copping to it, but also letting you know that wouldn't be happening if this were real. This is just a great way to get some bonus kind of commentary. But to what Ant said, it's a great point. We're going to do our best to keep any kind of like biases. We're really just going to try to get reps. Yes, have fun. Hope you guys have fun too. And we'll definitely chop it up and not that we're not going to ever not be real with you guys, but we'll break character, if you will, between fights for sure. Maybe a little bit between rounds. We're getting your guys' score. If you want to put them in the chat, hit the like, share it out, do what you will. But does that sound good? Am I really missing anything there, Ann, as I pump out the share here?
No, it sounds good to me, man. I'm just here to have fun, man. I'm here to talk about some fights with a guy who knows what he's talking about. And that sounds like a great time to me.
Well, that guy hopefully shows up soon, because right now it's me. But, we got people piling in the chat to hopefully, help us out. Because, again, just like these commentators, it's a really tough job. I'm not shy about, levying criticisms as I see them or common tropes, if you will. But at the end of the day, just like judging and other things we tend to criticize, it's a really tough job, folks, and me and Ant are going to be reminded of it by just doing a infinitesimal size of it with 3 fights where they're actually having to sit there and do the whole card. You know what I'm saying, Ant?
Oh, for real. I've done commentary once before. I did an amateur show for Tachi Palace a couple years ago. I was terrible. In my opinion, when I listen back to it, I'm like, oh, that was really bad. But it was a great time. It was a great learning experience. And, watching the fights this week, like trying to tape study and everything, it just gave me a renewed sense of purpose to sit here and really look at it with a more technical eye. And it gives me something to really look forward to. We watch the same product in and out every week, and it's good to do something to mix things up or to just give you just a little extra boost to go into it with some more enthusiasm. So this is fantastic, man. This is what I've needed this. So,
nice,
Dan,
man.
thank you.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's something that a lot of people like, and obviously you're very passionate and knowledgeable and been looking for any excuse, like I've told you, I'm going to keep that same energy in the public, but like I told you behind closed doors, I've been looking for an excuse to work with you. Anyways, man, so this was kind of a good opportunity. If you guys like it, if it goes okay, my computer is just, I'll save you guys going through it. Let's hope I can get it fixed or be on the road to that next week. But I definitely want to be back doing these. Definitely want to bring my man Ant here back, and just get more involved with the community in general with these. So thank you guys for being here for the first test run, if you will. You know, these test runs can be sketchy, but I'm glad you guys are here to hang at least.
Yeah, man, this should be dope. I'm having some tech issues on my end too, so this is going to be quite the experiment.
Yeah,
We're going to get it done. We're going to have fun while we do it. So while my computer is doing whatever it's doing,
you got time. We're
we got time.
Running filler
running
content
some promos
still.
now, right?
Yeah, still promos. Getting ready for walkouts, but you know how long those can take for the setup. What's up, Wesley Colvin? Got Jerry Harper, Ramondo Martin, Danish Khan in the house. And yeah, while Ant's getting reset, touching on what he touched on, a heads up too, guys. He'll get up and running and stuff, and if we don't, we'll resync up. But right now, we are purposely running about roughly in the neighborhood 20, maybe up to 25 seconds behind. Now, for those of you live, that may sound crappy, but think of it this way. Would you rather have us early and go, I can't believe he got knocked out before you saw it? Right? Like most media you follow who are live and they're tweeting out before your streams. At least we won't be doing that. But as much as we're going to try to be up to date live, we may be going slightly behind because that's how we're going to play it. Better safe than sorry. There's multiple, there's multiple ways to view things in the digital age. We'll leave it at that. But not everything syncs up. So that's part of the reason we're just going to be safe than sorry. So we'll be a little behind. So at worst comes to worst, we won't spoil anything. And then for those of you listening to us in the future, for the audio cuts on at the PYN podcast, the Protect Your Neck podcast feeds on most podcast platforms, maybe helping, getting some help soon, actually, for all podcast platforms. But yeah, you guys won't be affected. You can either sync up or just listen to it because you're a madman like me who likes to listen to podcasts in the background. So hopefully this is fulfilling one of those boxes for you guys.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely was one of those savages that would work out listening to like MMA Junkie Radio and beat down after the bell and stuff. So
nice.
I was part of that community for
old school references
until
right
I started
podcasting.
That. Yeah, man, it was really until I started podcasting, and then I was like, all right, let me take MMA off my brain for a little bit and just listen to some gangster rap like a normal human being when I'm working out. So yeah, you had to go back to the gangster rap for the workout, but it's all good. Got to stay in shape.
Hey, man, Tron Carter says this is the collab I've been waiting for. So we're not alone here, man. We're not alone. I'm glad it's not us just tickling, our beaks, if you will. Like we're actually doing something you guys want to see. That's always nice. So appreciate that.
Yeah, man. So far, what's been your standout moment from the card so far?
I've been kind of in and out, just scrambling here, and people are like, "Why don't you do it ahead of time, Dan?" It's like, yo, I had a hard enough time trying to get research for this card, and it still didn't make it for those of you listening to the breakdown episode to everybody. So apologies, but yeah, I was scrambling a bit. I don't know, man. Even though it was a bet that I lost, Hobo Cop getting shut off by Southpaw was just was a big moment off the top of my head. What about for you?
I mean, that's definitely up there, man. But Terrence McKinney getting flatlined.
Oh yeah,
right there was nuts. I think that
have a night.
Yeah, that's a good night for them, man. They gotta. It's kind of strange. Like these two brothers who are pretty new to the UFC are, they've kind of got the homecoming card, but they're both scheduled that Nick and Nate never did.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those big missed opportunities, I think, in the UFC, booking Nate and Nick Diaz on the same card somewhere in California and letting them sort of have a homecoming together.
Bigger, not that this is, not that there's a right answer here or a wrong answer, but what's a bigger disappointment? That or just not booking them or involving them and, Stockton, even Sacktown, NorCal for a UFC 209 card after the post-McGregor popularity bump already gave him a further wave, right? Like all the reasons in the world. I don't know.
That was
a little
no-brainer.
Sour about that. I'm still a little sour on that.
That was an absolute no-brainer. I don't know how they let that one slip out the back door. I mean, even if you couldn't get both of them, you got to get one of them. And if one is there, the other one will be there, at least for the fight week for the fandom. So it's good to see another set of brothers sort of get that thing going on tonight.
Yep.
I just wish it happened for the Diaz brothers in the UFC too.
By the way, I got Neil Magny walking out now. His little stat screen just appeared. I'm going to be giving cues both for my co-hosts and both of us, as well as those you listening live, as well as those listening in the future, so we can all have something to sync up to. So I'll tell you when the graphic disappears, and I'll also he's getting into the cage now. The graphic disappeared now. You can either do that count to see how far you are behind Ant. Once you have that count in your head, you can fire it off to me. I'll give you another point here if you missed that one when the camera goes off Neil for Gilbert's intro. No worries. Coming up, still on Neil?
Mine just went haywire again, so I'm refreshing right now.
Okay, let me know when you're back up, and I'll give you another timestamp. You still got overall another walkout plus the intros, so plenty of time to reset. And for those of you, just to know kind of where I'm at, I'm probably a little bit behind your guys' streams live. That's normal. Don't freak out. Again, at least I won't be spoiling it for you. If you guys are just hanging out here, I appreciate it. Even if you guys are curious about some live commentary, want to turn this down and turn up, the actual broadcast, I'm not going to be mad. I'm just happy you're here and giving me the view counts. You know what I'm saying? So believe me, don't worry about being in sync. Don't worry about participation to the fullest. The fact that you're here is participation enough. We got Luhinho, the Brazilian My Buddy doll rolling out here. I love the hair. He's got the bandana like usual. His brother Herbert. I always forget his name. I was yeah, that's right. It's the pervert from Family Guy, Herbert. That's how I gotta remember it. Looks nothing like Herbert from Family Guy, but she looks like Alistair Overeem was hanging out with his mom for a little bit. Someone did like a comparison between Overeem and some other fighter, and it gets Herbert Burns, and it was dead on. And I wish I remember who the other fighter and who posted that, but I was like,
if it's a comparison to Alistair Overeem's voice, then you've got GDR. They're like the exact same voice.
Oh yeah, that's right. Does she have that like same cadence? Well, basically, does she go basically for everything?
Exact same cadence, exact same pitch and tone. Yeah. It's like the exact same voice.
Not that you're not much.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get this right here. I've got all sorts of foolishness going on my screen. It's like the oops.
So, how did you guys in the chat enjoy the Murphy and Andrade fight? It looked like just a shelling from. I was kind of still setting up and stuff while it was going on, but my goodness, did Murphy? Was she able to show anything to make a account of herself? Because I know she actually showed some improvements to her credit last time out. Not that I picked Murphy or expected her to win here, but curious what you guys thought of that fight. What your moments are, if you want to answer Ant's previous question. If you don't want to mention anything about the last fight. Standout moment, Jerry Harper says, Hobocop losing shocked me. We think a lot. That's right. Hobocop deactivated. That's what I thought was going to happen in the Chidi fight. I picked Chidi by a round 1 KO. And to Chidi's credit, he almost got that round 1 KO, if I remember correctly. So it wasn't like it was a crazy prediction, but obviously Hobocop had the crazy comeback. Not tonight, though. Not tonight. I think that round was rounding down as well, to where you're like kind of start checking out. Go, oh, that's the end of the round. Bop.
Yeah, that mistake has led to a lot of people getting slept on the campus. You cannot take your eye off the prize for a moment inside that cage.
Yeah, or beginning of the round with a fighter you think is gassed, like RDA and Fiziev, right? We're like, oh, that's going to be RDA's round. He's finally taking the momentum. Maybe not enough to win, but he's got momentum, and he's slept because he ran right into a punch in the beginning of the round when the tire guy actually is going to have the most energy. So yeah, beginning or end of the round, talk about keeping your screws tight. We got Buffer introducing Magny now. The camera just went to him. Graphic just stretched across the screen for his record. And don't stress if you're getting close to the finish line, because again, if the action starts, I'm going to continue to call with timestamps inserted into my speech so everybody can follow along. Resync their strings as necessary. My stream, though, should still be running behind to what your guys' stream's at. I just went to Gilbert Burns. Graphic just stretched across for my screen, which means that should have already been across for your guys' screens watching at home. If anybody wants to confirm that I am in fact behind, that's fine too. You don't have to. Enjoy yourselves. Just happy you're here. James Kendrick in the chat. Hit me with a Whaley question right before the fight starts, my man. He's actually Whaley fight. Go to Brazil. Whaley go to Brazil to fight. Why should Whaley go to Brazil to fight Whaley? I don't know if I can unpack that one, buddy. I didn't know your media fans attack Whaley for doing Carla when she called for Abu Dhabi. Yeah, I remember you bringing up that point before. Yeah, no time to answer that now, James Kendrick, but you know me. I'll get to you, buddy. Thank you for being here, sir. All right, Magny. Are you ready? And action. Round 1 graphic, Timex 457, 456, 455. They are feinting, measuring range. We've got Magny, of course, in the dark trunks and blue gloves with the red gloves and Brazil colors for Durinho Burns, the opposite. Durinho really filled out nicely at this weight, man. You know, I think he's only listed an inch taller than me. And welterweights, especially this modern era, are big. Neil Magny with the sidekick there. But Durinho showing he can hang and really worked on his strength and conditioning, which he's really going to need on point if this goes late with someone like Magny, as Magny feints a couple jabs. Durinho with a nice body kick. There were many that talked about the kicking game and the body and leg attacks you, on paper at least, behoove you to incorporate against a Neil Magny. But of course, Magny works with a ton of fine coaches there, the Elevation Fight Team. So we'll see how well he's prepped for any potential leg kicks or body kicks from Durinho. They continue to feint at range 354, 353, 352, 351 of round 1 as we continue on. A little bit of hip feints from Durinho. Not a bad move. But both fighters a bit tentative to get offensive. Magny matching him with a little bit of hip feints before he lets a front teep that misses from the rear. Both fighters still finding their range. Durinho, the first one to land clean jabs, to the surprise of some, and uses the cross to build in, connect to the body lock, and we are down to the mat. 317, 316, 315 in round 1. Half guard for Durinho. Let's see if Neil really likes that Damian Maia style getup. He actually went to Maia's seminars after he got beat, as you see him try to reap the knee there, but Durinho smartly unhooks it, kind of crosses and locks his leg up as he looks to head pressure and pass with strikes. Really smart, really getting a good posture against the fence, to which Magny tries to weight distribute, kick off to a half guard, a little bit of a float, 243, 242 in the round, and a little misdirection for a half guard pass. Gets past the legs, but Magny has a bit of a hold of a scramble. Let's see if Magny comes up to a base. He's a bit of a weird, wiry guy, but Durinho, I suspect, can make use of those levers. Controlling behind the knee, very smart. Cradle position, I love to see that, whilst Magny still feeds for a kind of a deep half game, though it's a deep, empty half. His bottom leg, of course, not in play. Back to the cradle for Burns. Love that position. Not sure why we don't see more wrestlers do that. 206, 205, 204, 203 into round 1. 2 minutes to go, folks. And a pass to the other side by Durinho, who is playing topside just wonderfully. I mean, that should be to the surprise of no one. Obviously, Magny is a skilled grappler, but like they say, there are levels, there are ranks, and even amongst the ranks, even amongst the black belt rank, there are levels there, folks. Just like some wrestling styles don't translate or translate better, I should say. Same with certain jiu-jitsu styles. And Durinho has really worked a lot from and to mount his already aggressive game that I believe translated well, really incorporating wrestling with those there down in South Florida. Again, just a wealth of coaches as well for Burns to work with. Curious to see what Magny's coaches have to say if he makes it out of this round, but Burns looks to be going for a submission, like other Brazilian fighters like Rafael dos Anjos, who also had the on-paper groundage applied against Magny. I know it sounds like Magny hasn't done well against Brazil. He actually has won here in Brazil and against Brazilian folks, but it is not looking good as Durinho has an arm triangle against the fence and gets the tap in round 1.
Oh, wow.
Cash those unders if you got it. Cash those Durinho tickets if you bit the chalk. The favorite, Durinho, comes through in Rio, folks. Gives a hand to Henry Hooft. Hopefully Magny is all right.
I am furious I missed that one. Good Lord.
He didn't give you too much time to get in the action. It was like me the other for Gabrielle Bonfim. The reason why that I probably didn't mention that one because I went to wash my hands real quickly. I spilled something during the intros, and then the soap dispenser was out, and I had to refill it. And the time to refill the soap dispenser, I could hear Bonfim just getting a finish, and I'm like frantically trying to change it. So I completely feel you. Except granted, I wasn't live changing the soap dispenser, but we're all good, man. We got a party here in the chat. Feel free to give it a like if you haven't already. My man Ramundo, I'm still the ref. Basically, let Lauren Murphy get slaughtered. Stop the dang fight. I had Andrade by KO. That may explain your stance. I'm just kidding, Ramundo. No. She looked in pretty bad shape, to be honest. But I can't add to that, my man Ramundo, because I wasn't watching live. Perhaps if other people in the chat, was there any points in the chat that you felt that the fight could have arguably been stopped? For Murphy Andrade, feel free to react to that question. Feel free to react to the submission that we saw to Burns below. And because we'll have some chat time here, guys. Neither me or Ant are really pitched in to hear broadcast commentary. So if you guys want to turn up your broadcast if you care about the post-fight interviews, you want to pitch in and feed us. Maybe there's something interesting you want us to address. Pop it in the chat again there. But yeah, we're here to chop it up and in between rounds here.
If I'm not mistaken, now I'm back on now. Is this the first submission Gilbert Burns has at welterweight?
Wow, it might be. Yeah, it might be. I want to say so because he hasn't got one in a minute. He's been doing grappling comps.
Yeah, this is one I thought that that Magny would have a little bit longer in there. I thought maybe because he has this unique ability to fight in close for someone with his length, and he seems to be sneaky strong in there too. He's very good at using his leverage against the fence. But I had a feeling that was going to benefit him for maybe half a round or so before Burns cracked the code and was able to get him down to the floor and get the tap.
Yeah. Right now, the graphic just shot across the screen. Back to Burns from the translator. 6 wins by knockout, 9 by submission is the tag graphic. Crowd shot.
Yeah, I think you're about 2 seconds ahead of me.
Yeah. Burn keeps pointing his finger while he's talking.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to hit a pause and I'm going to hit a play real quick just to sync up with you, Ant. Folks, you should be ahead of us. That's totally fine. Derek's still talking. Tweet up in the corner. Back to DC now. DC grabs his wrist. Point up to the screen. Take a look up at the screen for me, Gilbert. And we're in the replay right now. So we're not too far off, Ant?
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 seconds behind you.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play back in. It's the mount. He locks it up. Replay.
Yeah, change angle.
Yep, he's changing angle off it.
So the
Adam Martin tweet is up
triangle
on the screen. Robbie Glover tweet on the screen. We got the tap.
Yeah. The man, to get that tap without going completely into side control takes a huge squeeze.
Ghost Phantom, Andrade still parries and leans back. Any good team will exploit that. Yeah, despite not being like a tall fighter, we're back to the Magny where you go body and leg like we talked about, Ghost Phantom, and you talked about as well. Andrade, even for a stout fighter, that same rule, to your point, Ghost Phantom still applies. You really got to go all 3 levels on her. But yeah, Gilbert by KO. Is that what you had, Jerry? I think they had him priced about both the same. They really made you choose, Parker. Like Willem Dafoe says in Spider-Man on that one. Magny's ring craft is pretty bad. This is from Ghost Phantom, by the way. He's already behind the black octagon getting taken down. These must be while the fight's still going on. Apologies, guys. Yep, I see you there. Mounted. I see you, James Kendrick, as far as the question goes. I honestly wouldn't mind Weili going down to to fight in Brazil. I don't feel like it's any disservice, unfair, or disservice to her. As far as people being hypocritical about it or anything like that, I haven't seen that any recently. Again, I think everybody's kind of turned on Weili and seem to be supporting and high on her, which is good for her. But yeah, I mean, we just got to wait to see if they even make that, and then I'd say just see how people react and give them a chance and go off of there, my man James Kendrick. Thank you for chiming in as usual, sir. Burns by sub, yes sir, Jerry Harper. That is ended up getting there. I hope people haven't forgotten how good Burns is on the ground, Jerry Harper says. Yeah, I don't think so. We're getting set for the co-main event. You got Davis and Figueiredo shadow boxing on my screen. You guys should be a little bit ahead. I'm working my way through the chat here.
Yep, Brandon Moreno now warming up on my screen.
James Kendrick, I see. Hopefully you heard me my answer for there. If not, you know me, man. I'll always answer your questions in the future, sir. All right. Yep, Brandon Moreno on my screen too, doing the circles. Yep.
Gotta love the circles.
That's right.
Looks goofy, but it's a great warm up.
You know, I'm curious how that Safe Saud is going to fit with the corner there. I think good, to be honest, but I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean,
is he in the corner tonight, or?
I believe so. I mean,
I hope so.
He's Moreno has had some serious coaching changes in the last several years. I mean, like his entire run through this Davison Figueiredo phase in his career has been with several different coaches at the helm. So, typically we see that camp change. It takes a fight or two before you really start seeing the results. But he had to be a fast learner with James Krause. I'm sure he'll be a fast learner with the team at Fortis as well. So I'm very curious to see what new wrinkles are added to his game tonight.
Me too, as well. Me too. I think that I think having someone like Safe, saying firing commands, and I think that's going to be good because Moreno, we saw a little bit in the last fight. We saw it like in his fight with Pettis and some of these 5-round fights where they're kind of like almost check out at times or get off the game plan. And Safe's I think is really good for keeping on a fighter, at least in their head, for that. So we'll see how it goes. I picked Moreno here, but no major feeling on it. I won't let that bias or anything come into the broadcast, but that is who I did pick for what it's worth, folks.
Yeah. This is I'm amazed at the Brazilian crowd. I mean, they've been hyped for a lot of what's been going on, but to see the stands not totally packed, it's kind of bizarre, considering the last time they went to Brazil, like how long it's been, and the sort of Brazilian firepower that's on this card. I would think that they would have been there from start to finish.
Yeah, I almost want to know from Brazilian media as far as both A, what the temperature was, as far as excitement, and B, more importantly, what was the economy to ticket price equation like? I mean, right. We're getting hit hard here too, even with as far as some prices, expensive venues are just even more expensive than usual for whatever that's worth. So I'm sure they got to be feeling some of their own version of that, but that's out of my ballpark.
Right. And we're also talking about the $80 pay-per-view here. So people are getting priced out all over the place. And also let's also not forget that Brazil just days ago was subject to a violent insurrection. Whatever sort of political instability is going on, and what the temperature of just walking around the streets of Brazil feels like right now could play a big part in people showing up to enjoy things like sports.
Wait, so you're saying that not everybody is doing really generic rap videos like the UFC was producing, singing about Jose Aldo and a bunch of other fighters that are no longer in the UFC?
I'm thankful that I missed that. I think I had the TV on mute or something when that was going on, dealing with my kids. So I'm so happy I missed that. But I'll check it out. I'll check it out later. Make sure that I'm on an empty stomach so I don't let anything loose. That sounds dreadful.
I mean, it was bringing me back to all the poor choice 90s programming that was trying to jump on the cool hip-hop train for Saturday morning programming. And we didn't have TiVos and stuff back then, folks, so we had to just sit through and eat it to get to our show.
Was it better than the IFL rap?
Oh my goodness, that's a throwback. I mean, better how, like, produced in video quality, or like overall less embarrassing? Like, it depends on what.
Yeah, was it?
It depends what
was it easier to get
we're
through?
Using. I think it was easier to get through just because of production. But again, man, I'll tell you. Let me know if it gives you like all those like really bad '90s like just I mean, it didn't age well then. You know what I'm saying, Ant? When we were watching,
Yeah.
I can't imagine if we went back to look. Like, that's what it reminded me of. Like if we had a time machine to watch, you know, Captain Planet gets Streetwise. Like, oh no, like
Yeah, I'm a hip hop head too, so I'm very critical of stuff like that. I
Okay,
used to
yeah.
rap, so I'm very critical about rap music. So if I saw that, I'd have been hurting. But the IFL rap definitely caused me physical pain when I first saw it. I was definitely hurting. But I'll say this: at least it's a departure from new metal, because the UFC has this strange allegiance to
Dude.
a style of music that died out like what 15 years ago.
It is a certain like period in time. Like I was a part of that first media tour for the Apex, and we went. Dana White took everyone to his office with the couches and the Amanda Nunes portrait, which I'm convinced that I'm like, he doesn't seem like a big Amanda Nunes fan. I feel like that was more just like an FU to Cyborg narrative that was going on. But anyways, the other thing that stood out to me in the office was. And it was funny, of all the things he was particularly proud of, Data tried to pass a party bowl off to everybody, and he's like, "You guys want some gum?" And we're like, "Why does he want what is it, trick gum?" And we look down and there's a bowl, but it's like, God, was it Dentine ice or Polar ice? But I forget.
Like old school gum.
Yeah, like it had its window where it was like hot, right? Like yeah, it was like, you want gum? It's like, oh yeah, someone's offering me good gum. I'm not even gonna turn that down. I'm not even a gum person. And like, from like junior high school boys who don't know anything about girls to hot older girls and everything in between, everybody was chewing on those things from like the late '90s to early 2000s new metal era, right? It's again, it has nothing to do with new metal, but that era, Dana just locks on anything in that era. He's like, this is me forever.
It's like him wearing like his high school varsity jacket or something. Like you're captain of the football team and you're still got the jacket on.
Dude, that's funny you say that, because he was literally like, he gave us a look like, of all things that he showed us that he could have genuinely be like, you guys are impressed, right? We would have been like, yeah, that's pretty damn impressive, Dana. Of all things he pulled that card for, it was for the Dentine Ice Bowl. He goes, look, Dentine Ice, look, remember this? Huh? He did wow. Huh? He was so proud. Like, he was like, buddy, not everybody lives in your world. I don't know if you've noticed this now yet, but...
I'm really surprised that he didn't pass out Banaka and Axe body spray.
Yeah, if he passed out Banaka, I would have ran, because I'm like, what, he's going to spin the bottle with the media members? Jesus, get out of here. I'm going to get the fuck out of here, Jesus. Right? And that's what I think when I think of Banaka. Like, you see people passing Banaka or playing spin the bottle. Folks, these are games that when you grew up before the internet, like me and Ant, you played these kind of games, okay? You had to subject yourself to bad rap on TV mainstream programming that you couldn't TiVo or pause pass, and really crappy social games.
Really crappy social games. Like, yeah, man, I swear, it's like the UFC lives in the past. It's hilarious. Like, I almost admire the commitment to something that's so far out of style. It took them so long to get rid of Face the Pain.
Oh, Jesus.
To the point where I almost didn't want them to get
Me
rid
too.
of it.
I was going to say, like, I almost felt sad.
Just keep it. It's just keep it. It's your identity. Just keep it, Except, do you remember when they did that dubstep Face the Pain?
Those are always the worst.
That was the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. I was at a bar watching. I almost threw a shot glass at the TV. It was so bad.
I was mad too, because I think it was like not too long after BJ Edgar 3 where I finally got to see a BJ Penn fight live for the first time. And despite I knew that sadness was going to happen, what was even sadder than seeing him just get demolished, if you were still a fan of his, or if I was still a fan of his, but then I was. But was the fact that the Hey Allah Hey, the Brada Is walkout, he did a dubstep version of that, and I was just like, right when I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, he's definitely getting drilled into the ground tonight. This is not good. This is a bad omen.
Yeah, I had a BJ Penn live experience too, that I knew what was going to happen, but it was like, okay, I did get to see BJ Penn live. That was against Ryan Hall at UFC 232.
That was a weird kind of depressing, right? Because it wasn't like brutal, but it was like, oh, he taps? Aww.
Yeah, it was this unique wrinkle of pain I didn't know I could feel. Like, oh, this is really bad. All right, well, we got Moreno now at the what do they call that thing? The prep point?
Yeah, the prep point. That's actually the right word for it. He's taking his shirt off.
I wasn't sure of the sponsor, so they have it like the Corn Nuts prep point or whatever. Mm-hmm. But Corn Nuts isn't a thing anymore in the UFC, is it?
It could be, but the fact that Mike Goldberg isn't around, we just haven't noticed it because he really loved that. He really loved that ad line. All right, he's getting Vaseline right meow. On the stake.com, folks. Remember to bet there, but, fighters no longer are allowed to even shout them out. Didn't they say when they were taking the gambling rights away from fighters that they were still going to allow them the sponsorships, and now, conveniently, they knocked the two major ones out?
Of course. I mean, and at least if the fighters were getting a cut of the money that DraftKings is giving the UFC, okay, cool. But we know that's not the case.
Yeah, and by the way, folks, any future employers listening, obviously I would not be talking about your company like this.
Yeah,
this is not normal walk-in commentary criticizing the sponsorship. I'm sure if we turned on, I'm sure DC and them wouldn't be blasting sponsorship right now, on the live broadcast.
Course. Absolutely, and DraftKings, if you're hiring, I'm looking. So
he's good. He's good, folks. He's good.
Yes, I promise. I'm not this much of a savage all the time.
Yes. Of course, once the action kicks in, folks, we are going to be getting our professional reps in. Just making those, I'm not beyond calling myself out and making the distinction before we start playing here.
Little small talk before we get to business.
That's right.
Because we can only talk through the commercials, but so much about the fights itself without giving away too much of whatever biases or whatever thoughts, preconceived notions we have and whatnot. I just want to talk about the action that we have as it's going on without that thing on my back that's forcing me to look at it a certain way or frame the action in a particular manner.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, so we're about to get a boss walkout from the champion, Davison Figueiredo.
He does feel like not that he's a bad guy, but he does feel like a bad guy in a video game vibes, doesn't he? Like with his walkout and his pageantry, if you will. Yeah,
he has a particular sort of pride feel to him, just in general, just the persona. It's like this over-the-top persona that somehow still kind of understated. Even like the weigh-ins, he's got the glasses with the gold chain around them, a device that you would normally classify with like a nerd to have. It's like a pocket protector almost, to have those little chain thing around the earpieces of your glasses, and he's got a gold decked out one that's just sparkling with this gaudy big gold watch. Like he's wearing the expensive suits and whatnot. But that's actually something that I think is we need to be considering in this fight. The only reason why this quadruple fights from these two is occurring is because Figueiredo, I think, was feeling himself in the first fight. Like he came in there with that unbeatable aura, and he found someone who didn't buy into the aura that night.
Yeah, he wasn't feeling good apparently that night too, which was the insane part.
Right, and that was a classic fight from both men.
He's filled out,
and we've seen their bravado has kind of gone back and forth throughout their previous fights, and I'm curious which way that momentum is going to swing tonight, because we have someone in Figueiredo who should be supremely confident coming into his home country with the actual championship, having that previous victory over Moreno. But Moreno, on the other hand, has picked up a ridiculously well win against Kaikar France. He's added new wrinkles to his game as coaching has expanded for him. And on top of that, out of the fights that these two gentlemen have had, he's the only one that's had a finish. So you've got to go in there with your chest poked out a little extra high. If the problem is, which one is going to be feeling their bravado too much to where it becomes a danger, to where they underestimate what's coming at them.
Yeah,
because one thing we haven't seen from these two gentlemen is a warm-up period in any one of their fights.
That's true. I think you're right, though. So much of it is ultimately mental, which sounds cliche, but if you look at the shortcomings or potential adjustments that could have been made in this series, or the overconfidence of Moreno here or the overconfidence of Figueiredo there, so much of it strikes on these mental chords and attitudes that you speak of. Ray Lamont in the chat, Dan, what would your walkout music be, and would your nickname be Jack Slack the Human Backpack? I've had nicknames given to me that were both Dirty Dan and Handsome Dan. I'm okay with both those. Would probably prefer Dirty, to be honest. And I talked about this with Ant actually last time we were doing our test. But Portugal the Man was All Your Light would be a one. But I was going to come out to Still Dre for a couple reasons on this last one. And he didn't ask you, but answer for the masses. What would your walkout song be?
My typical thing would be some sort of hardcore rap. Like I'm thinking Dead Prez, I'm an African, Papoose song.
I like Dead Prez.
Yeah, Turn It Up. Those are two that immediately come to mind. Maybe CNN's Bang Bang. But really, if I've got one fight and just one song that I'm going to walk out to for my entire mixed martial arts, kickboxing, boxing, whatever combat career, I'm going to go Jackie Wilson Higher and Higher. I'm going to go the complete opposite direction. I'm going to go positive.
Wow, yeah, I was going to say, I like the energy on that one. I like that. I appreciate that. Of course, the Deiveson Figueiredo and the fourth fight with Phantom Moreno is getting set here, folks. Bruce Buffer is excited. He's excited, Brucey. By the way, low-key, I love when the UFC broadcast commentary always takes inside shots and strays at Bruce Buffer. That's always a low-key funny moment for those who notice that. Herb Dean.
Yes, Herb Dean, the well-traveled mixed martial arts officiating veteran, Herb Dean, who gets more of a pop from the crowd than a lot of the fighters.
He is a fixture at this point, man. I'd be lying if I haven't been at house parties back in the day where whoever had something lit may have put it to the screen whenever they showed Herb Dean and would make the herb joke like we haven't heard it 1,000 times before, but I always had a friend to do it every time. Anyways, neither here nor there. We got Brandon Moreno getting announced in. Shouts to anybody else who did that, by the way. All right.
Oh man. All right. How are you feeling the energy from these two gentlemen right now? Are we seeing any flaws in the armor that are visible right now?
Yeah, the only thing I tend to look at, and I guess Figueiredo would be the guilty one as far as summing it up as we get close to here, I look for the Ronda Rousey Holly Holm. I can't think of it, but there's been plenty of times where a fighter like a Rousey, they don't have to be undefeated, but they show uncharacteristic anger and aggression that really doesn't need to be there. Mm-hmm. That's always a huge red flag, especially if it's like a fighter it's even more if it's a fighter that's favored to beat the other one, which Figueiredo is not. This is a tightly lined folks, a near pick 'em as we close here.
Right. One thing that I thought we might see, but in hindsight, I guess it's not that big of a shock. I wanted to see if Henry Cejudo was going to corner Deiveson for this one. Yeah,
we got some people in our chat like Ghost Phantom and whatnot who train and have some info over there at Fight Ready. And basically, they had a tough time with Figueiredo's discipline, and that's what he's going to need in this fight. His discipline of the game plan from Fight Ready, I think, is what got him to win the last fight. So that's a great point to bring up as we lead in here and get ready for the count-in on round one. Where will Figueiredo and Moreno's discipline be for the fourth fight? I will count us in on my stream. They are getting ready. Figueiredo looks huge.
Yeah, he does.
And they're in UFC clock on the screen. 4:58, 57, 56, 55, 54, 53, 52. We're pretty close, right. And a takedown attempt from Moreno.
Wow, that was a fast takedown attempt from Moreno.
Past the legs, thankfully, from that guillotine that's really strong for Figueiredo, but he's passed.
He's still holding on to it, though. Wonder what he plans to do from this. Maybe use it as a basis for a sweep, perhaps?
Yeah, if he is, we're going to have to watch that left foot of Figueiredo, see if it converts to an instep butterfly on Moreno's right thigh.
Just when I was about to say, as the two were kind of setting up their stand-up position and Moreno took that outside warning track, I was thinking, okay, he's going to go back to the countering game that has worked very well against Figueiredo and trying to push his agenda and force a good counter, but looks like he decided to switch things up and go straight to the ground. Let's see how that plays out for him.
Absolutely. 3 minutes, 55 seconds left to go in the first round. Off to a fast start despite it being on the ground, which benefits, I think, Moreno, not just because he's on top, but maybe he's getting Figueiredo to use some energy on his arms, and there's the sweep you called for.
Yeah, there's the sweep. Yep, they're back up. Moreno looking pretty unfazed by the whole thing. Figueiredo as well, so they're back reset, center of the cage. Now a bit of a measuring point for both. couple feints that neither one is biting on.
Yeah, feints are going to be important for both. Figueiredo didn't have them in his second fight.
Yeah, swing and miss on the leg kick for Moreno.
Yeah, I like that they're both trying to kick. One of the common threads in researching this fight for me, Ant, was seeing the fighter that took the early kicking initiative ended up winning each fight. So that just something to think about, something to chew on. And the kicking initiative also led to the counter traffic. Both these fighters are counter fighters, so that's the traffic they want to control.
Absolutely, and I think it's also very important to watch for those leg kicks against Moreno. He just doesn't check a lot of them, and we've seen that as a common thread through a lot of his fights. He just simply absorbs them, and if you're going to be a movement-based fighter, if you're going to be around the ring and at the pace that these flyweights fight at, you want your leg to be in working condition.
Figueiredo looks the biggest I've ever seen him in this series, I think.
Yeah,
he really filled out tonight.
He does, and the funny thing is, he looked exactly the way he did on the scale as the other three fights. So
yeah,
what he did different, the night after is God knows, but it looks good on him. He looks like he's filled in and shouldn't present any real weaknesses body wise. Due to the cut, hopefully.
Yeah, and I'm not just ogling over his muscles, folks. Obviously, he has those nice kick to the body, but in comparison to Moreno, which we've seen them in with each other for a while, another body shot from Moreno.
Nice combination from Moreno. Another shot attempt.
Yep. I'm with you there.
Figueiredo stuffs it.
144, 143. Shot off the break.
Elbow off the break from Moreno.
Yeah, nice shot off the break.
Back to the 1-2. Figueiredo coming in, but Moreno is not. He's not playing the simple counter game this time. He's mixing up the aggression very well. I think it's aggression in spots.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if he counters in combination as he gets more comfortable as the fight goes on. Extended exchanges have benefited Moreno from the jump in their series, so that's another area. But again, getting those from Figgy, a hard thing to do, folks.
Oh, leg kick into the takedown attempt.
Another elbow off the break.
Moreno lands it, but Figueiredo goes into the takedown attempt, doesn't get it. Elbow off the break from Moreno. Body shot to the overhand from Moreno. Nice combination.
Reminded me of Leon Edwards with that left elbow off the break a second ago.
That was very slick.
I think I'm a couple seconds ahead. Gonna pause and play. You're good. Keep going.
About 48, 47, 46. All right, shot from Moreno. He's got the takedown.
38, 37, 36, 35
Figueiredo
for me.
still has wrist control. Just let it go. Wrapping that leg up. Wrapping that leg up. Going for some sort of leg lock. And looks like now they're changing the leg lock positions. Oh, he's got a heel hook.
Ooh, that looks nasty. He's got the heel.
It's a deep one.
Moreno trying to get his knee out and trying to pry it off while Figueiredo tweaks at the heel. Game of inches here, folks.
Wow.
I don't know how much torque it was, but not enough to make him tap. A little illegal kick there.
Yeah, illegal kick didn't stop the action there. One of the rules that we would like to see changed.
All right, yeah.
If you're both on the ground, you're not downed opponents.
That would definitely be fun. I agree with that one there. Round one comes to a close. Of course, we are not scoring, folks, because we are calling the fight. But that was definitely a competitive round. Feel free to submit your scores in the chat, and we'll give those love and look at those when we can. Absolutely.
Exciting round from both men. And still, it's hard to see exactly what the strategy is because we saw them both kind of shift gears and kind of go off rhythm several times there. So I'm very curious if a game plan is going to solidify itself as the action continues, or at this point, these are two guys who know each other very well. They've spent a long time fighting one another. Maybe they know each other well enough to where you could just throw them in the cage as long as they're in shape and things will start presenting themselves.
Yep. All right, getting ready to start round two.
All right, here we go.
And we are in a competitive round one, 456, 455, 454, and counter shots from Moreno. 1-2 follows. Measuring each other.
He's sticking to that warning track.
Yeah.
Moreno, it's like in the outside game. Oh, nice body kick, caught by Figueiredo, and he takes it to the ground.
See if Moreno uses that cage to stand or if he's going to try to attack and do a little bit of guard play first, but that fence is right at his back and head.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to kick off on the hip there.
Just engaged.
Smash against the fence. Looks like he's getting stacked up.
That's right. Some scores coming in from Moreno. That's who I thought maybe I might have had it in my head, but I'm not trying to score or throw anybody off. That's just coming in from Twitter, folks. They're back up in a scramble.
Nice reversal from Moreno. Hook off the break.
Yeah.
He seems to be really focusing on striking as the clinches separate. So
very smart.
Yeah. So, I mean, you see why he's not afraid for the clinch. He's planning on attacking on the way out at least.
Both guys have traded off the breaks throughout the series, but yes, Moreno definitely having that initiative tonight. Let's see if he can get other initiatives in his favor. Figueiredo coming forward.
But the takedown attempt stuffed by Figueroa. Knee on the break there from Moreno.
I like these takedown looks from Moreno. He doesn't seem to care if he gets them or not. I think they're just trying to overload his system, which is a very Safe Saud, James Krause style coaching. Remember, they made the game plan with James Krause, who obviously cannot be here, and said that Saud came up with a similar game plan on his own, which is what sold Moreno there. And those are both those coaches' MOs. I think we're seeing that play out, really trying to overload the champion with volume as Moreno.
Definitely. It appears to be working. Nice overhand countered by a hook from Figueroa.
Yes.
1-2. Figueroa fires back with the right hand.
Again, that's why it's hard to extend exchanges on him, folks. It's not as easy as it sounds. Figueiredo, as we're seeing, he still has hard punctuating counters every time Moreno is attacking. So his leg kick partially checked, although you can argue how much you can check those calf kicks. I think the raising checks don't work as good for calf kicks personally. You need more than Jose Aldo turn the shin out while still keeping a plant to the ground.
My stream just malfunction there, so
right.
I'll be back up in just a moment.
All good. I'll feed in timestamps while commentating. Of course, a little scramble there. Figueiredo gets topside, but then a sweep, and then Moreno in a guillotine right now on top. But how tight is the guillotine? He's got Figueiredo pressed against the fence. May limit how much Figueiredo can flex. It looks like he's on the face, but Figueiredo is just strong no matter what he has. I mean, looks like he's crowding out, and he is out. There, that was a scary moment, though. Anytime Figueiredo grabs onto the neck, it's a scary moment. That was a fun exchange. It was a failed takedown attempt that cost him Moreno position. He did those classic jiu-jitsu sweeps that you see in gi class, holding the ankle, used it to get on top, but went right into a guillotine. Of course, he is out on top now, 127, 126, 125 to go in round number 2. Figueiredo looks like he's definitely catching his breath here, which is understandable. They have been fighting at a high pace, but it is something to watch out for, folks. Good weight cuts, bad weight cuts. This guy's been overdue to be going up, arguably, according to some. So the gas tank, worth watching on Figueiredo, who is on bottom with 105, 104, 103 left to go in round 2. Moreno using good head position to kind of pin Figueiredo's head against the fence. Really uncomfortable. Nice folding elbow over the top as Figueiredo tries to get his legs in play. Butterflies, looking to get a little more active. He's got the fence to his back, so let's see if he uses that to stand. Especially with Moreno being a good back taker. But as we get to the 32, 31, 32nd mark of the round, you got to wonder if Figueiredo, especially if he is fatiguing, wants to just kind of reserve, rest, and get a second wind, if you will, heading into round 3. Moreno continues to work on top. Wrist control, downward elbow, love that to the body, slices one to the head. Oh my goodness, I'd say that made blood, but that was just the red streak in Dice Duguera's head, who is still on the bottom. 4, 3, 2, and round 1 is over. Moreno ending up on top. I imagine it's going to be 2-0 on a lot of scorecards out there for Moreno. Again, we're not scoring, folks, but feel free to give the video a like. Let us know in the chat where you have it scored. replay showing the guillotine scare, if you will. Unfortunately, not enough. Even if you are grading that as a catch, which I would, as according to Jiu-Jitsu tournament metrics, which of course are not the scoring criteria, but with it lacking in the metrics for grading grappling as well as the interpretation to what we see. You know me, I always got to try to include that for those of you that are scoring or trying to keep that mindset in mind. Of course, we're getting set for round 3 here. Got Ant Walker with me on the broadcast. We're going into round 3. We got Dice Dugera on the camera. Let's see if he's got his breath back. Let's see how much he was able to recover. Herb Dean counts us in. Round 3 is live. And the graphics counter is up 453, 452, 451, 450 as we make our way into round 3. Of course, that outside track position that Ant Walker was referring to, that is where Moreno is residing to start this round as well. This has been his main operating space for the series, especially with Figueiredo's pressure. Moreno always been a competent counter fighter, though, so he is fine with this inherently. I don't know how narrow his stance is. I haven't really been watching that too narrowly. I know my man Ghost Phantom, who mentioned the, of course, downward elbow in the guard because he knows what's up there. I'm not sure how much of his stance or how much anyone else has been paying attention to his stance, but Moreno definitely kicking and using his lead leg a lot, almost as, good offense makes a good defense kind of a saying in reverse there, if you will. If he's using the leg to kick, it's not there to be kicked, right? It almost seems like he has that mindset sometimes. Figueiredo stalking forward. Big misses from Moreno. Figueiredo really needs more feints to pull those misses out and then perhaps, obviously, capitalize. Feints was a big key. Oh, it was a punch. It looked like a punch. Yep, it was a punch. Figueiredo called for the eye poke. Herb rightfully didn't bite on it. Even if it's a knuckle to the eye, even if it's that weird catch of the glove, folks, that is not an eye poke. I know we had that with E. Gay Jackson that kind of came back into the lexicon, but this wasn't even open-handed. It looked like a close-handed hook, and far be it from me to accuse poor form on a Moreno hook. That's his best shot. He is on top with 259, 258, 257, 256 to go in round 3. Figueiredo looks to be composing himself. For a second, it looked like it maybe, could have been on our way out, a dramatic temperature change. But whatever was bothering his eye, well, it's causing blood, but he is settling into a high guard to try to control Moreno's posture so he doesn't get any more strikes. Yeah, that eye looks to be swelling too. That is Figueiredo's right eye. Again, it was a left hook that did it. Just happened to hit him in the eye and probably knuckle pointing area or where the rubber meets the proverbial road as far as the glove ending to the finger. Not an eye poke, though. We got to see the replay, but, as a betting man, if you're asking me to bet, I don't think it is. Figueiredo trying to kick off the hips to break free with 207, 206, 205, but Moreno really following with his hips and landing strikes where he can. I don't know if the referee is warning or not, or if he should be warning. I don't think so, but just to keep the referee off your back and to make sure the judges are grading you properly, it's always good for the top person to continue to score. Of course, it doesn't hurt for the bottom person either, but whether they're attacking with strikes or submissions, to parlay that standing. Right now, Figueiredo looking just to hold on after that little burst a moment ago. 134, 133, 132 left in the round. Figueiredo also right in front of his corner. As Moreno continues to land strikes from the bottom, an up kick. Looked like it maybe took Moreno and knocked his balance off a bit. I don't know how clean it landed or how legal a clean land would have been in that scenario. Again, the funny downed fighter rules. It's a bit of a scramble where Moreno popped back up from his knees to come down. But referee says game on with 104, 103 left. 1 minute now to go in round 3. Again, hit the like if you haven't already. We are here, Ant Walker and I, Dan Tom, MMA. for UFC 283 alternate commentary via Daniel Tom YouTube channel, Daniel Tom MMA YouTube channel, Protect Your Neck Podcasts, home of, which will be on their feeds. Of course, Moreno still on top side with 30 seconds left in round 3. That eye is not looking any better. Referee looks to be calling for more action, like I just said could be a possibility. And Moreno listens, not only postures up to strike, but ends up in side control with some decent shoulder pressure, which he lets off to land some elbows, I presume. Oh, a nice almost ghost roll escape, as I've heard it referred to, but Moreno stays on top for the final 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to close round 3. And that is possibly 3 rounds in the book for Moreno. There it is. It looks like it lands like ridge hand style for you karate Charlie Murphy fans out there. Shout out to Charlie Murphy. One of the only times I saw him do stand-up live, he had a ridge hand reference, and you know, I went nuts. But yeah, Moreno hits him with that little kind of thumb / side of the fist, as I showed a camera here, folks. This area right here, closed fist, legal. So got to give credit where credit's due, folks. Props to Herb Dean. It is hard to catch these things, to be an eagle eye in those situations. Herb Dean's eyes has been criticized before, but you know, you see him catch these things live in the action. That is all you can ask for. These are very difficult jobs. So that was a great non-call by the referee there, as the cut man operates on Figueiredo's eye in between corners. Looks bad.
All right, I'm back up.
My man. All right. We got Ant Walker back for championship rounds. Make sure you follow him. You see the name tag there right below him, Ant Walker MMA. That's exactly where you can find him on Twitter, as well as me at DanTom MMA on Twitter, right below me, as the doctor checks in on Figueiredo's eye. Hopefully this doctor wants to make it back to his place because, you saw how much guff the New York doc got, but these folks are in there for the fighters' protections, folks, so that is their job in there.
Can't imagine the doctor would make it.
And they call it. Wow, and it's called.
Oh, and there it is.
Doesn't let him go.
Protect that doctor right now. That Brazilian crowd is not going to be happy with him. But, I mean, hey, fighter safety first. I'm
all for fighter safety, obviously, folks. We are not we're providing an alternate broadcast. We are not in tune to the actual broadcast. But feel free to chime in with your opinions in the chat. Obviously, me and Ann are for fighter safety, not just saying that for any faux broadcast. If I could speak for Ann. We love violence, but we're not blood hungry, folks. We love the violence, but it doesn't mean we're blood hungry at the same time. So vision is really important, not to get dark, but man, I feel like, which is a symptom you can get from too much head trauma, but Shogun looked like he was sporting like a lazy eye over his left eye that I don't remember having, but it kind of makes sense from all the right hands he took from just Dan Henderson alone. Eye issues, folks, there are a lot of fighters that have them that you don't realize, so never critique a fighter or the doctors for making these calls on the eyes. They're very serious things.
Absolutely.
No complaints to that stoppage, says Ghost Phantom.
Yeah, I mean, that was, his eye looked horrible. It looked horrible, and there's no way that someone with a conscience and a medical degree can allow someone to still sustain damage to that exact same area any longer.
Yeah. Jerry Harper says, are you fucking kidding me? Jerry Harper, does that mean you're on the over like I was? Breaking the fourth wall. I actually bet the over, so I don't cash a bet, and I'm still okay with it for what it's worth, folks. Again, fighter safety, obviously, but I'm sure that will definitely color opinions, and I'm not above that, so I'm not hating. But I am still curious of your guys' opinions, so thank you for sharing them. I appreciate that. Herbalicious is Rain Lamina. It's over. It is indeed. And I don't know what chance Figueiredo might have had too, being down 3 rounds. I don't know if he was going to get a 10-8 in the last rounds. I never like saying that too. I think Alves Dalby. Everybody was like, no matter what happens, Dalby's winning round 3, and Alves lost clearly, but he actually won round 3, right? So I definitely never want to write a fighter off, but yeah, this case with the eye, I cannot hate safety, man. So props to Moreno and his team.
It's very easy to kind of get caught in the moment and just hope that a fighter can make that miraculous comeback, or they could just land that one shot that's going to change things and they can battle back through all this adversity. Unfortunately, though, the typical outcome is typical for a reason. That's what's going to happen 99 times out of 100. If that's what you think is going to happen and
Yeah.
that's what all the logic points to, that's probably what's going to happen. And when you see someone with an eye that badly damaged, continuing a professional fist fight may not be the best thing for them long term.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you really nail it there when you say the word long term, right? I mean, again, back to these eye injuries, they can be serious stuff. Of course, Moreno's having a post fight. Sorry, folks, we can't provide commentary on that. So again, feel free to turn us down and turn your live broadcasts up. If there's anything notable, you can, of course, or just any opinions you want to share, of course, shout it in the chat. I'll get to it when I can. All right. No Dana to put the belt on Moreno was Mick Maynard, I noticed.
Did Dana not make the trip to Brazil?
I don't know. Now I'm trying to think if I even remember seeing him. Folks, have you seen him on the broadcast? Feel free to chime in on the chat there.
He's got slappers to take care of.
My Twitter feed is down.
Oh yeah, I just got back up again. Pause.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to get some post fight talking about what's next for the flyweight division, because are we running this back for a fifth time, especially with an ending like this?
No, because I think Figueiredo finally admitted, which is something that I've been forecasting and many have been, that he's going up to bantamweight. I'm sure people can confirm as Figueiredo's getting interviewed now. I know you should never take what a fighter saying immediately after a fight too seriously, but he expresses his intentions to moving up to bantamweight. I hope he does. Put him against Peter Yan, man. That's been my dream fight since 2018. To see these guys fight, Davison Figueiredo and Peter Yan. I feel like there's just so much bulletproof matchmaking you can do with Davison. 35 years old. Don't make this guy cut the weight anymore. He might be retiring. Who knows? He's doing the gloves off thing, and he's holding his gloves.
He's got the
in
gloves
air.
off now.
So definitely not at flyweight.
Yeah.
Again, MMA retirements, hashtag MMA retirement. Shout out to Sean Sheehan. Don't take those too seriously, especially when they happen right after a head trauma-inducing fight. But yeah, I doubt flyweight. Jerry Harper says, I mean, this was a title fight in their fourth meeting. How many fighters fight championship rounds with their eyes swollen shut? I hear what you're saying, Jerry Harper, but that reminds me, actually, thank you for saying that, because it reminded me something I wanted to say to Ant with his last spiel on it, which I agree on, which is that, like, in boxing, not only is the logic, and Ant used that word logic, not only is the logic to protect the fighter and save the fighter more common, but it's also more common in practice. In other words, we actually see corners, we actually see the systems that are set up, actually work, whereas they fail with Volkanovski, Ortega, Herb Dean, the ringside doctors in the corner all failed Ortega for a fight that could have been stopped multiple times in round 3 to round 4. The checks and balances actually worked like they were supposed to. Now, unfortunately, I or maybe you lose some money if you're playing on the gaming side of that. Yeah, that sucks, certainly, and I don't, I feel for you there. But as far as calling it down the middle and how the rules and sport is, arguably supposed to function, this is what it's supposed to look like. We're supposed to protect these guys and gals. So I can honestly tell you, no BS, that I'm okay with that.
Yeah, agreed. Totally agree with that. It was. I mean, we just saw Lauren Murphy take a hellacious beating from Jessica Andrade.
Right. Yeah.
A fight where Lauren Murphy's corner probably should be thinking about letting that white towel get thrown into the middle of the cage. There needs to be more of that boxing mentality in mixed martial arts.
Yes. Save
these men and women to fight the next day.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm not trying to get too deep into that, because then that leads us to the no-win conversation of MMA fighter pay, of course.
Of course.
But yeah, I do stand. I think we're definitely in lockstep there, sir. And Rain Lamina, the Maynard of Mick. You like that, Dan? I do like that because it didn't get me canceled like all your other stuff you send at me to read. Rain Lamina. Burgundy will read the teleprompter, people. Oh, they're throwing beer and they have to rush Moreno out. I don't know if you saw that.
Yep, just so that can't say I'm surprised.
Jesus,
cannot say I'm surprised.
Didn't they just have like a promo thing where they're like, they had like,
it's like, oh yeah, we don't really mean you're gonna die. In the arena. Yeah, like all the Brazilian fighters, like, oh, they're just passionate. That's all.
Hey, by the way, folks, please, I'm sure someone's already doing it, but either do this or share it with me if someone did it. I know someone right now is editing that promo where it shows, but at the end of the fight, the crowd embraces you. And take whatever image they showed of the crowd embracing and split cut it with Brandon Moreno just getting fucking pelted. even throw Covington in there for all you want, you know? Maybe throw Matt Brown walking out to fight Damian Maia. I know those last two kind of insinuated the crowd. They enticed the crowd, granted, but, you know. Oh, man.
Yeah, you gotta love the juxtaposition there.
I don't know if I go to a show in Brazil. I want to go to Brazil for sure, but I'm definitely going to be leaning into my brown skin and 3% Portuguese blood, you know, that I found out I had. So let's play that card as much as I lean into it I can. Maybe hide my eyes, wear sunglasses a bit. I don't know. Sorry, just trying. Hey, man. Hey, it sounds like I'm half joking, but when you travel abroad, you got to think of things sometimes, depending on where you're traveling to, folks.
Oh, absolutely. I've done a tad bit of international traveling myself, and yes, safety. You have to think about it because especially when you don't speak the language, you don't know where you're going. I mean, just going out of town in general is always going to be a risk. Going to any major city or even a rural place, you can. You know, I'm a brother. You know, I don't feel comfortable going to too many places away from cities.
I was gonna say,
if you get my drift.
No, I was gonna say you experience it in ways that I can't understand because you know you look different than me, right? So there's no way I would be able to understand that. But the messed up part about it is like you could still be Asian looking like me, go to a place that is Asian like China, right? And that's a place where I was chased with my Brazilian friend Christian Silva. We were chased in Shanghai with some Chinese dude with a butcher knife for like 4 blocks. I mean, listen, just because I'm half Chinese. I actually am Chinese. It doesn't matter, folks. It doesn't just be safe out there when you're traveling.
Yeah,
be
definitely.
safe. Doesn't matter.
Well, just a few months ago, I was in Nairobi, Kenya, which is a great city, by the way.
Oh wow.
But I'm with my family trying to get into an Uber to go back to our hotel, and a couple guys that are clearly trying to rob us are approaching, and it's starting with the friendly, you know, want to shake your hand or something first while the other one comes up behind you, and you know, pretty much threw my son in the car and was standing there in like a fighting stance, like ready to sidekick someone in the chest if they got any closer. So yeah, it's real out here.
That's right, baby.
I've been in scenarios like that in in my hometown in PG County, Maryland. So.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. See, there you go. I mean, it's just be aware of your surroundings, folks. We'll see if Hill has to worry about that or not. I think I got to imagine they'll be loving him if he loses, right? Or hopefully they won't still do that to the losers out there.
Yeah. Like for real, don't pile it on.
Hey, but everybody loves Glover though. You don't have to be Brazilian to love Glover. So if you beat Glover, you know you're not going to have you are going to have some people sour at you probably.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah, Glover, I've never had any encounters with him, but from what I've been told, that he's one of the nice guys in the sport.
Yeah.
So, he's spread a lot of goodwill inside of mixed martial arts, so wouldn't be surprised at all if he got the same level of reception he's going to get tonight in Brazil anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, he definitely deserves it, man. And it's rare you see that, and I don't get my hopes up too much. You know what I'm saying? Nothing surprises me these days. Not to be too negative, but
absolutely.
But yeah. Yes, you hear you behind the scenes matches in front of the scenes, and one thing is for damn sure, regardless if you know some negative Glover headline comes out down the years after he's retired or not. The guy is one of the best sportsmen, you know. Just like say all the bad things you want to say about BJ, there's very few fighters who were courageous. You had to pull their you had to pull strings to get him to move up in weight. You can't take that away from him for whatever that's worth. But more importantly, a sportsman, a good sportsman. Teixeira is that. Whenever he iced a guy, knocked him out, choked him out, he was right there, genuinely making sure they're okay, helping them retain consciousness, giving them words of encouragement going forward. Like, he's just like the dad, of MMA.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm definitely curious for Jamal Hill how this Brazilian crowd is going to affect his performance, because we've seen him in pay-per-views before. I believe he fought on UFC 263. That's the first one that comes to mind. But he's a guy who most of his career has been at the Apex Center. His biggest moments have been at this small venue with a 50 people or whatever that are paying high value tickets with some media members there. Like, he's not been in front of the brightest of lights in the main event. And especially to take that into foreign territory. What's that look like? Not to mention the tremendous leap in competition that he's facing tonight.
I like that you mentioned that, because that was actually something, again, to break the fourth wall briefly in my breakdown, and despite picking Teixeira here, that's something I didn't mention, and I'm glad you brought that up, is that, this is Jamal Hill's, he's mainly fought in the UFC Apex, which blew me away, and this is a huge jump from what he's used to, and that does count for something. I'm a big experience guy, of course, age and athleticism and pinpoint accuracy and power and all these other things, as well as actual legitimate skill, both standing and on the ground as well. I think Hill's been getting written off in a lot of analysis there. I think he's not going to be easy to deal with. Is he going to have a disadvantage in wrestling and grappling? Of course. I just don't feel like people are giving him enough credit. He recently got his brown belt. But I think a lot of those intangibles that you speak of may actually, or could actually, be the bigger question here.
Right. It's because I don't think at this stage, if you get a title shot in the UFC, say for some sort of really bizarre circumstances, say like a division as thin as women's featherweight or something like that, where someone who clearly is not prepared for the challenge of the champion, say for some odd circumstances like that, if you get a title shot in the UFC, you're pretty much ready for the big time. So that's when the little things start to matter. That's when those intangible things start adding up to form a bigger piece that can figure out what's going to happen, like that will then dictate what the outcome is.
Absolutely. All right, we got just to get a quick timestamp here. Well, we got the intros coming now. It's a blue tinted screen, overhead shot. Hill is going to be making his walk here shortly, as I believe he is the blue corner. There he is. Are you up and running?
Yep, we are synced. Looks like.
Yeah, I haven't touched it since last time we were. So, if you're still good, we're still good. I do wish I hear the audience. Feel free in the chat. Let me know on your broadcast, if you're watching the actual UFC broadcast, if the Brazilian crowd is washing out Hill's walkout music. I'd be really curious.
Well, I've got my volume very, very, very low, just enough to make out Phil Collins in the air tonight.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So that's
appreciate that.
That's one of those. That's just a classic song right there. You can't boo that. How can you boo that?
I'm just laughing watching a lot of the audience members gesture toward Jamal Hill with throat slit signs.
I don't think stuff like yeah. I mean, he's stepping out just as the drum track kicks in.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be done.
Wow, that is weird. I'm seeing spots in the arena. We're in the main event time. I'm still seeing spots up in the arenas and the seating. That is crazy. I don't know if again, not to over speculate too much. Who cares about my opinion? But I don't like that he was locking in both with people negative and being positive toward him. Left to right, start of the walk to the end of the walk. I kind of like when they're just zoned looking forward, especially if the questions are about that we were asking. How are you going to react to the crowd? How are you going to, you say you're not going to be phased in this and that. In my mind, at least, maybe if you say that, the last thing you want to do is take it in the first thing, make that the first thing you're doing. So let's see if he snaps into game face here.
But it could work the other way too. Some people kind of need that to get in their mode. So I mean, you could think of say like the Diaz brothers. That sometimes they need to manufacture their anger towards someone to go out there and perform. He could be one of those people just needs to he just needs to feed off of something negative in order to go out there and perform, an athletic action that's going to cause negative consequences across from his opponent that he probably doesn't have any actual personal disdain for.
Yeah. It'll be real interesting. I mean, he definitely already has the skills to come away victorious here, so let's just see how it clicks with the mental mindset for this one. Glover Teixeira should be making the walk soon.
If we're gonna frame this fight as something very simple, beyond the youth versus experience argument, I think there's a power versus skill argument to be made on this one. Jamal Hill has insane knockout power. I mean, we've seen him go through this tear in the Apex Center and just knocking people's heads off. Glover Teixeira has that too, but Glover Teixeira's game is built more on the versatility, more on the strategy, as opposed to just going out there and just trying to knock someone out. And it doesn't. Both approaches, can't say there's anything wrong with them, and when they clash, right, you can see anything. And the youth versus experience plus the skill versus power argument should make for an interesting combination tonight.
Somebody just gave me a Brazilian name of Daninho Tom. Thank you, Danish Con. I'll take it. Of course, that probably means something probably really dirty, but, whatever. I've been called worse.
Call him Dan Ton if you're nasty.
That's right. Here comes the Garage Man Glover. Glover's Garage. The meaning behind that shirt, and for those listening unaware, that Aaron Bronstetter gave me, Glover, and some others, was that the joke was when Glover made this first run to the title, everyone would make fun of him because he'd be training in a garage with like kids, and then eventually he got to share MMA a gym, and eventually those kids have become, some of them, talented pro fighters and some of his best training partners. Added Alex Pereira, and when the pandemic happened and everybody had to scramble to garages, well, Glover was Bane. He was born in it. He was already doing the garage grind, and sure enough, coincidence or not, you tell me, Ant, here Glover is fighting for his second vacant title. What a story.
Absolutely. As someone who was a former member of the Panda Dojo, I can tell you garage gyms are very, very real.
Panda Dojo, that's right. Wow, that's a prestigious club there. Nice. I'm still thinking of a name for mine. I may have to incorporate Scorpion in it, not because it sounds cool or tough, but because there's scorpions in it. It's a problem. So I figured I might as well incorporate it into the name.
They might as well be the mascots if they're there.
The Scorpion's Lair. No,
I actually did a buddy of mine who my Muay Thai coach for a little bit. He was training out of his garage, so I nicknamed the place Thirst Trap Martial Arts and Fitness.
Nice. That's a good nickname. Glover Teixeira at the check-in point now. His Manscaped, whatever stats just popped up. Sponsored by... Why are you reading their sponsorship, Stan? Sorry.
I'm just hoping that, like, The Rock gives them more than just the red shoes. Do they make those shoes in any other color?
I don't know, man, but I'm convinced that's a plot point in Black Adam, that he goes around and makes people wear a bunch of shoes that they don't want to wear, and someone has to come in and stop them. That's the plot to that movie. I haven't seen it yet. I'm assuming it is.
I've seen it.
Okay.
It's lacking. I'll just put it that way.
That should have been. It is lacking. It would have been better.
Yeah. That would have been a better plot.
Oh man.
All right, Glover Teixeira at the prep point right now.
I got
there's nothing like a title fight
in the ring already, so I may pause and go a little slower. So we might be a little more behind y'all.
All right, he's in the cage now. He's Okay, the camera just panned back to Jamal Hill. Yeah, Hill's got the game face on.
Let me know when the tail of the tape graphic pops up.
Gotcha. Yeah, Jamal Hill with the 1,000-yard stare. All right, tail of the tape graphic is up now. Three-inch reach advantage. It feels like Hill should have a longer reach than that. Just his lanky frame. If you didn't know what the stats were, you probably would assume it'll be longer than a 3-inch reach advantage.
Right. Buffer on my screen. Where are you at?
Yep.
Glover.
Buffer. I've got Judges on the screen now.
I've got Jamal Hill. He might be ahead
Yeah,
of me
Mark
now.
Carter. Okay.
Oh yeah, Judges is on the screen with me now too. So I gotta get a jump ahead a little bit. Okay, Glover, Hill. I just jumped ahead 10, so I should be with you. Overhead shot, Bruce doing his
overhead
thing.
now. Yep.
Yeah. Glover.
Yep, Glover.
Okay, so we're pretty much right on now.
Yep, he's punching the corner.
Yep. He just did a 1-2. Now they're on Hill.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right, folks. That's where we're at. Don't worry, you guys should be in front of us. Appreciate y'all being here. At least we won't spoil it for you. We're admittedly behind.
Absolutely.
And we'll be feeding more timestamps regardless if we get off from each other, just so people listening in the future can sink in, as I do plan on cutting these up for commentary tracks. Manana. Wow. Thank you, Ant, for joining me. This has been fun. It's been nice to get
Absolutely.
some reps
Thank
in
you for having
here
me.
and just hang out with you guys as well in the chat.
And the more we do this, the more refined it's going to be. So this is just the start, ladies and gentlemen.
Dana Red says fastest takedown in light heavyweight history incoming? Question mark? Possibly. We'll see. I think Glover, he hinted at using the takedowns to maybe open up strikes, and that is a possibility here, folks. I remember picking OSP, who lost, granted, to maybe left hook Hill when they fought, because he would leave these kind of low lead hand retractions. There's still a bit there. Glover, his punch is the left hook, folks, so that'll be something to watch out for. But yeah, striking advantage, I believe most are giving to Hill. But yeah,
see that, and I'm one to sort of disagree with just giving Hill the outright striking advantage, because that gets into the skill versus power argument.
Yes,
in my opinion. So,
yes.
We'll see what
Yes.
Hill looks like. How dialed back his approach may be, as a way to sort of compensate for what have to be nerves, what has to be an adrenaline dump in there, and what he has to recognize as a tremendous leap in competition.
Yep. Yeah, Glover may not do much, but he is great for him. He rarely throws himself out of position. His striking has even improved at his advanced age, but it's more the dynamism, the variety, and more importantly, the body work, which I love from Hill. Really underrated quality of young fighters. Hill does it, and you're going to need to do that against Glover. So look for the body work there, and the check right hook from Hill. I think those will be the biggest weapons to watch out for. The left hook from Glover, not to discount him standing, and yeah, we'll be with bated breath whenever this thing hits the floor, folks. Getting ready for round 1 to Shara Hill.
Absolutely.
Vacant light heavyweight UFC title on the line, folks. Here we go. Round 1.
Right. Feint to the takedown for Glover.
Yep. Getting in his head already. 453, 52, 51.
He'll fire that right off right away. Hill stuffing the takedown there.
Single leg snatch.
Sheriff got it up against the fence.
Got him against the fence. That's where Teixeira works best from. Outside of opportunistic. Ooh, good defense. Good knees to the body. There's those body knees. That's the body knee is what hurt Glover really bad in the Yuri fight. That's what he credits to the momentum change in round 3. See if Hill puts more of those knees out there when they're in close. Hill orthodox now. He will show that look occasionally.
Look like I just got out of sync here.
It's okay.
Reload here.
It's all right. I'll count you in where I'm at. Right now it's 402, 401. I'll give you more counts later as Glover level changes for a takedown. Hill defends. Another knee to the body. Punch to the body. I think that's intentional. Hill is good about going to the body, but he and his team must have done that homework because he looks to be prioritizing it in and out of the breaks. Leg kick for Hill.
A wise strategy against the aging fighter, especially.
Absolutely. Hill switching from orthodox now back to southpaw. He will switch, though he primarily fights and lists himself as a southpaw. Glover, of course, 4-0 against southpaws, though those fights were won on the floor. Glover the one pressuring, which makes sense. He generally has better cage positioning than Hill, but Hill's defense is getting him out of dodge whenever Glover does make his takedown and corralling attempts. Now Hill has the center and is smartly kicking to the body. Let's see if Glover has answers and can counter these body assaults. Especially if Hill starts the build. 258, 257, 256, 255.
I'm a little ahead
round
now.
One.
So I will do my best to not spoil anything.
It's okay. How far are you ahead? Within 10 seconds?
I'm 225, 224, 223.
Okay, I'm going to hit forward twice there. 220, 219, 218, 217,
215,
216. I'm just a couple
214.
seconds behind then. Okay, that's
Okay.
fine. That's fine. You stay where you're at.
All right. Yeah, he'll go into the body again with the knee. Front kick also partially deflected by Teixeira.
I'll be curious, though, if Hill tries to build off that and mixes to the head once he gets the respect to the body. Bodybuilding, especially from southpaw, you guys know I'm all about that, but it's about the man inside right now, and that is Hill trying to get that title over to Teixeira.
Teixeira giving him a little body work of his own.
Saw that left
hook to the liver.
Yeah, Teixeira's going to have to get more aggressive here, whether it's offensive or off the counter.
Teixeira with an overhand right there. Hill definitely showing that some respect.
Little eye poke, perhaps. Goddard pauses the action. It did look like an open-handed post, so that makes sense. As Mark Goddard, excellent referee there.
And what an excellent time to pause the action because I just went out, just got back.
Nice. 119, 118, 117. Action is back in. 115.
I'm at 48, 47.
Okay.
It's like a time machine. All right. I'm gonna try to resync.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe get a better time, and if not, I'll meet whatever you end up at. Just let me know. Right now I'm 56, and we can try to resync, and then once this round ends, if in case you can't get it on the fly. 46, 45. Glover with a leg kick misses. Hill with a combination doesn't look too clean, but able to catch him at the end there. Nice jab by Hill. Glover tries to go over the top of the second one. 30 seconds to go. Superman punch with a right lead uppercut attached. That was a nice little quick combo from Hill.
All right, I just hit the end of the round.
All right, 18 seconds, 17. You see you're ahead of me now?
Yep,
Okay.
I'm ahead.
Okay, cool. I'm going to split up.
I'm between rounds.
All right, he's sitting down now. Glover just sat down. Cutman just put on. Alex Bejeda
Just
just
got
got
ice on his chest?
Yep, yeah, just put the ice on. Mouthpiece is out. Glover's talking a bit with the ice on his chest.
Split screen with Hill.
Not split screen yet for me. Now split screen.
Okay.
So I'm a couple seconds behind.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, 2, 3 maybe.
Okay. If you want to do the trick I did before, feel free to do a pause and a play. Maybe just tighten the gap a little bit.
Do a refresh and pause and play. All right, got a replay now.
Yep, body knee, just change replay, body kick from Hill. Close up jab.
I'm just a little bit behind you.
Okay,
I've got the body knees, body kick.
Okay, I'm gonna pause once, play.
All right, now I'm at the jab.
Slow-mo punch.
Yep, slow-mo punch.
Hill,
All right.
walking forward,
Yep.
458,
Hill walking
57, 56, 55, 54, close enough?
You're about 1 second ahead of me, so
yeah, close enough.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
folks.
good.
You should all be ahead of us, folks, so don't stress on that. We won't spoil anything for you. Nice body work there for Teixeira as he comes forward. Curious what adjustments both corners gave, but I think Hill's got to be feeling pretty decent about himself unless something hurt him that we didn't see. But I felt he made a good account of himself that first round. Leg kicks there.
Absolutely. I mean, this is both gentlemen know this is a real fight. So this was neither man went out like a chump in that first round at all. As Hill is throwing out this jab as a feeler, we know Glover is trying to land that overhand. You know, whenever Hill hits that orthodox stance and pulls that jab out, he's got to be very careful about the overhand coming up the top if he's not going to rifle that thing in real fast.
Yes. Ooh, nice body knee before the eye poke. Hill also racking up some quiet damage on Glover's left calf, folks. Pretty smart of him, too, to attack the leg there if he can do it without giving away a takedown.
Absolutely. All right, we've got to refresh again here. All right, so I got the official timeout clock, 25, 26.
Action's back in over for me. Oh, Glover just ate a head kick, 50-49. Are you anywhere in action?
I'm 403, 402, 401.
Okay. Some heavy action here. Hill's got him against the...
Oh, yeah, just saw the head kick.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Glover ate that.
I paused up at 3:30. Tell me when you're about 3:35.
Okay. All right. Right now.
Okay. 3:25, 3:24, 3:23.
Yep, here we go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Ooh, those knees.
Elbow in close.
Doesn't look good for Glover. He's busted up now.
Real good on that overhand from Glover. There it is.
Oh. Glover's still swinging.
Yeah,
looks like he busted Hill's eye open. Wow.
He's still coming forward.
All right, Garage Man not done yet. Wow.
Yeah.
Hill having to take a breath and recollect himself, it looks like a bit.
Yeah.
Whoa, nice head kick from
mouth
Hill.
Open there. Oh, another head kick.
Right off the bodybuilding, too. Awesome. Now Glover's having a hard time seeing if he's going body or head. That's great by Hill, but I don't know how much energy he has to keep launching those things if he's already living for air.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a matter of Glover's legendary durable chin over Jamal Hill's gas tank.
Reaches down for a single, changes off to a double. Nicely done by Teixeira.
Wow, nice takedown.
Nicely done.
Very well timed. Quickly moves to mount. Oh, he butterflies his way out, but now he's in side control.
Glover looking to still get his grind on, though. He's really got that weight draped on top of him. Yep, and steps over to complete.
Wow, steps over. Oh, he's got the back.
Hill scrambling. He's doing his best to scramble, but Glover playing it smart, staying on top.
That is a hell of a scramble, and
wow.
He retakes the top position now in the closed guard of Jamal Hill.
I'm going to hit a pause and hit a play so you can catch up for a second.
Okay.
And 52, 51. Glover trying to pass. Perfect. Passes one side. See if either of them look to take their breath here. Glover to settle and catch his breath, and I imagine Hill needs to collect too. But wow, the longer you stay down there with Glover, you're just in trouble. Glover is always making you uncomfortable. He is pressure cooking you. He's using his shoulder pressure right now to persuade until he whips up for some ground and pound, that is. Collects the wrist posts that Hill tries to use to build, continuing to grind.
Yeah, and Hill was wise at least to keep that left leg up to prevent Glover from jumping to the other side to complete that arm triangle. Looked like he was trying to sink in.
Yeah, nice underhook get up there from Hill.
Oh, wow. Very nice get up. Well, he took a lot out of him with that exchange, I imagine. But yeah. Both men they're wearing it on their faces now.
Yep, and they must be feeling the fight just through the sheer cardio aspect, much less the pain and adrenaline and everything else.
Absolutely. Hill's really, really landing a lot of these head kicks. Nice right hand from him also.
Yep.
Snaps Glover's head back.
That early body work really paid dividends in that regard. Just missed on a left hook for Teixeira that he wung for. Another body kick.
Yeah, that's the rare instance where he got himself off balance throwing a punch.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he rarely does that, but yeah, he really won that one. That just shows you the temperature of the fight right now.
Right. Good combination from Teixeira. He's closing in, but Hill doing just enough to keep Glover back. 10-second clapper. Let's see if they turn it up to try to perhaps leave a better impression in the judges' minds. All right, Hill throwing a nice little combination in the round.
Glad I'm not a judge on.
Man, I am thankful that we are not trying to judge this one right now.
Though if I were a gun to my head, I would say Hill probably up 2. Got the first, probably the second, more moments. But again, folks, this is where we are not scoring. We are calling this one, and this is a wildfire fight through 2.
Absolutely, man. That was once again a great showing by both men. The replay on that takedown, yeah, I've got to imagine that if you're Teixeira's corner right now, you're stressing that moment more than anything else. Get that takedown. That has to be the message to him at the moment, because yes, he can beat Jamal Hill in a firefight. Like, he's having his moments. He's landing very good offense. But why put yourself through that when you can get that takedown and perhaps takes the path of least resistance?
Absolutely. Curious if Poatan gave him any advice for these kicks coming his way. I know Poatan is not a southpaw, but Jamal Hill, if he has the energy, he's making a lot of hay with that shot. But if Glover has the energy, like you said, Ann, I think he can make even more hay this round if he's able to get those positions again.
Definitely. Another switch stance from Hill. Glover going in for that takedown, back against the fence.
Yeah, I like that Glover's been using, whenever Hill goes orthodox, he uses that to trigger to his takedown entries, which I imagine are more normal for him when he sees a fighter standing in that stance. But can't get him down, and Hill turns him around. Yeah.
Well, clinch strikes for Hill. Just break, and now he's got him back in the warning track, throwing those long-range jabs. And just kind of probing at him, just sort of blinding Glover, just keeping him in his face, more so than doing damage right there. Gotta imagine he's setting up the right hand with that. Yep, and there it is.
Yep. I like that Glover's going to the body. Hopefully he can maybe enter off those body shots more. Oh, back to the head
nice
again.
Nice hook from Glover. Yeah, Jamal Hill really lasering in that southpaw jab right now. Oh, another head kick.
Oh, Glover looks
He's
a bit
hurt.
wobbly.
Glover's hurt on this one. Oh, wow.
Wow, you can't even regard. That's not good.
Hammer fist to the ground. Oh, Hill changing position. Has Glover against the fence.
Glover swimming in for a single as best he can. Let's see how Hill plays it, if he can play smart and separate.
Hill push that head down, and he's just going for the uppercuts. Glover playing what defense he can from that position.
Looking to control a wrist. Let's see if he can get to some kind of a guard or a half guard. But Hill smartly staying high and raining down.
Vicious ground and pound. He's really winding up on those shots now. Mark Goddard looking at this very, very closely right now.
I like Hill's choice to post and keep his hips and ass away like that while he was striking to kind of limit any kind of entanglements. Glover trying to set up as best he can. Good wrist control by Hill in his little spaces here. Yeah, he's pinning his wrist, not letting him get anything going. That is really smart.
Yeah, pinning the wrist to the elbow. A brutal sequence right there.
And wrist pinning as well. Shout out to Neil Melanson. Leads to really brutal ground and pound. So, again, wrist control, unsung hero, working defensively and offensively for Hill right now. I hope that detail doesn't get lost for others. Wow. I love Glover and stuff, but that's a really impressive detail by Hill there, that application.
Yes, see,
right,
Glover
back up.
Almost looked like, yeah, there he is, back up now. Let's see how that wore away at him. If if he's been able to clear out some cobwebs at least.
Yeah.
And I doubt it with the level of punishment he was taking, that ground and pound. Hill walking him down.
Those body shots. Yep, they did their homework on that body shots. Hill does regularly attack the body, but again, he's really emphasizing it tonight, and he must have, no surprise if I saw it on the tape. These guys are seeing it on the tape. Great by him and his team. Teixeira trying to pressure him back though, still in this.
Yeah, Teixeira, nice jab.
Yeah, nice jab. Nice fade back by Hill.
Oh,
return. Wow. Uppercut by
Hill.
Hill. That's
a very nice uppercut. That was a slick uppercut.
Surprised he didn't go with that more. That's been a traditional shot that's hurt Teixeira.
That was like a Steve from Tekken uppercut right there.
Tekken, I'm all about the Tekken references, baby. Nice body head by Glover.
Yeah, he's still in it. He's still walking him down as much as he can. Well, Jamal Hill back to southpaw, 1-2.
Glover is a dog. Someone says in the chat, I don't believe Glover has missed a jab. I agree. He just doesn't jab enough. His jabs have actually been on point. But he doesn't do it enough. And the southpaw jabber usually has the inherent advantage, and Hill's taken to that, as you can see by Glover's eye. Another nice jab by Glover, over the top.
Wow, over the top. It's just every time Hill goes to the orthodox stance, if he's not rifling that jab out, Glover's landing that overhand all day.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's giving this much overhand or orthodox looks with these, the fact that Glover is getting most of his success from that stance. Nice knee by Hill.
Oh, wow.
Follows up with the right hand. And the round's close. Wow.
Wow. That was a tough round for Teixeira there.
Absolutely. Regardless of the outcome of this fight, I mean, hats off to Jamal Hill as a martial artist and competitor for clearly stepping it up to the level, because he hasn't been at this level before. And although the comparisons could be unfair to saying, well, if Santos was able to take him down, Glover should. Regardless of that, the fact that he's doing what he's doing, I think should be impressing everybody right now.
Absolutely. A lot of people were writing Hill off beyond just the fact that he has that frightening power, but this has been a very technical display from him.
Absolutely, and again, I'm both calling and picked and played Glover, so take that for what you will. But I did say, despite those things, I felt like I was giving Hill more credit than even some of his supporters, I dare say, kind of pigeonholing him, like you said, to just the power or certain strikes. But the body work, the IQ, the execution, the anti-grappling, the ground and pound, man, showing a lot to like. Don't like that cut over Teixeira's eye, though. We are in round 4. 57.
All right,
56.
here we go. All right, Glover trying to put the pressure on. Hill responding with a nice body kick. Second body kick to follow up. Third body kick to follow up. I don't think we can. Hill might be breathing, with his mouth open at times, but I don't think we can question his cardio much. Rifling kicks off that powerful, that fast at this point in the 4th round.
Yeah, no, it's not. He's not in danger zone cardio, and in fact, you could argue it's really impressive with the pace of this fight.
Another head kick landed from Hill.
Man, I hope Glover's not setting himself up for another 5th round finish, because he is just taking all the damage.
Right,
he's still dogging forward. He's got the body lock. See what Glover can do with it.
Yeah, and Hill. One of the flaws, if you want to call that, I saw in Hill in my analysis leading into tonight was like his tendency to keep that chin up, but he's weaponized that a lot tonight, keeping that chin up, kind of luring Glover into throwing a punch, leaning back and firing back with his own pull counters.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to imagine Alex Pereira must be going a little bit crazy in the corner, because those are, similar themes to Izzy, where Pereira was able to use the underrated jab to line him up and body work. Teixeira not going to those as much. Eats a good right hand.
After eating a head kick and another head kick, partially blocked, but still felt the damage, and then another right hand land Hill is landing at will at this point. Teixeira, I mean, 43 years old, is it? Still in it?
He's going to have to. He may be having to find a comeback that rivals the Lazy King, Abdul Ragimov from Aries fight the other day, where he was down all 5 rounds and had to come back with 30 seconds to go in the 5th. Glover may be putting himself, not intentionally, of course, not his choice, but yeah, he may be in a similar situation. He is definitely down, I would say, though.
I would agree with you on that one. He's taking a tremendous amount of punishment right now, and Hill doesn't look like he is close to slowing down at all. Another overhand attempt from Glover, threw himself off balance again.
Man, it's starting to look like a punching bag almost at this point. I hate to say that. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Whoa, a nice right and left by Glover as I say that.
Nice combination from Glover.
Yeah, Hill still is open for those counters, folks. It's not that he can't be countered.
Glover attempting to put the pressure on again. Let's see how Hill responds. Another head kick, again partially blocked.
Cash those over tickets if you took them, folks. This fight is in over territory. So Hill lands another southpaw jab. Yeah, when a fighter leans back like you were talking about, Ant, that's when you really got to go to the body and legs. I mean, there's another body shot. I don't think Teixeira can miss to the body at all tonight. It's just easier said than done, of course, and Hill's doing a fantastic job on his end.
Snuck in another body shot right there as you finished that sentence.
Yep. Yeah, I don't see many that he's really whiffed on. He's whiffed upstairs and paid for it.
See, Glover taking a rare step back now. He looks
like he's hurt. Yeah,
he's hurt bad. Trying to stay on his feet there. Hill closing in, looking like he's going for the finish there. Knee to the body also.
Yeah, that's...
Hill is really doing a fantastic job of mixing up everything in these sequences where you'd expect the guy to just headhunt. He's throwing in that body shot. He's throwing in the clinch work. He's still keeping a variety while pursuing that finish.
Wow, flurrying against the cage now. Glover trying to keep eyes on him.
Uppercut.
Hill ain't stopping. The uppercuts are going to serve him really well.
This is stop the fight territory now that we're entering.
Yeah, Glover's eyes are going almost offline at some spots.
Knees to the body.
Goddard, of course, has the best view. We'll trust him, obviously, but man, this is not looking good. Overhand by Hill. Glover tries to clinch up to trying to stop the onslaught. Pushes Hill up against the fence. What a dog. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, this is...
Trying to clear the blood from his eyes. Can Glover even see well right now? Another jab.
Wow. Glover slipped on the inside of that right hand.
Man, how about...
but slipped right into the clinch. Wow, another knee and another punch flurry to close the round.
How about Hill's cardio? How many fighters would have gassed themselves there? Yeah, 10-8 ain't no problem there, but how many fighters would have gassed himself at this point? I mean, he wasn't supposed to fight Anthony Smith till March? So where was his body when he got this call, right? And, first time to round 4 in the UFC last time. He did go 5 rounds against Daquan Townsend outside of the UFC, but that obviously is a different level. Again, you could be the biggest Glover fan in the world. I'm in the stands with you, but you got to be impressed with what Hill's able to do right here. Even as the favorite, he was the favorite, folks. So maybe not that much of a surprise, but specifically what we're talking about.
Right, specifically how he's getting there is what I find very impressive right now. Yeah, so I mean, this is one of those conversations that. Should this be continuing?
You got 5th round Poatan Perea in the corner, so I got to imagine they're keeping up hope. But it's going to probably need to be the doctor or Goddard to stop this thing.
Yeah, doctor taking a look at Teixeira right now, see what he concludes. I mean, the Cutman did, in my opinion, a very good job with that.
Let's go, baby.
Ridiculous gash over his eye, and here we go.
That's what Teixeira said. I just read his lips. He goes, "Let's go, baby." Wow.
All right, fifth
Give
and
it up
final
to
round.
these old war horses, man. They are a dying breed. Ultimate respect for these guys. And they have respect for each other. They hug, and we are on 456, 455. The final round, folks. Round 5 for the vacant light heavyweight title. Glover Teixeira, Jamal Hill.
Jamal Hill looking fresh as ever right now. Still light on his feet. Switching stances. Overhand from the orthodox stance.
Teixeira, there's the takedown.
Single leg, switch to the double leg.
See if he got his hands locked, got some up.
And
Can he chain it and trip? And he's down. He's got him down in a half guard. Shoulder pressure city. I got to imagine the crowd is going bananas right now.
I'm sure they are celebrating in the stands right now.
4 minutes to cook.
See what Glover can do.
See what the chef can do.
Without the fence there. Let's see how Hill tries to maneuver his way out of this one. Looks like he's going for a half guard sweep right now.
He's got a far side underhook, and he really wants to fight for that. But that leg lever is beautiful, and Teixeira uses that leg lever to secure his side control. Heavy jiu-jitsu right now, but Glover's got to get cooking without losing position. That is the game. Time is ticking, folks.
Wow. Smothering top game right now.
See where Glover looks to go. Does he try to pass and go more north-south and try to climb back to mount, or is he trying to just get over the legs from his current position and anchor himself in from there? I imagine Glover wants his normal position from the mount where he can just pound guys, but Hill's not making it easy.
He's gone back into the half guard.
Ghost Phantom mentioning the arm triangle in the chat. That is the chain. He goes for the arm triangle to the back mount, to the mount, and they all kind of chain back and forth from each other with punches in between. 3 minutes just north to go. Teixeira on top. And he's in the mount.
To the mount. He's got the mount.
Mount position. I got to imagine the corner of Teixeira and the crowd are going bananas right now. Let's see if he can have his own fifth round. Oh, no. Hill's getting
Hill
out.
Hill's
out. Oh, he gets out the back door. Let's see if Glover goes for his own deep half.
Now.
Glover has the energy. Wow, nice scramble by Hill.
Nice short elbows by Hill as well.
Glover has some deep half sweeps that he's good with, but this is the fifth round, and at 43, we'll see how much he has left in the tank here.
And this is after 4.5 rounds of getting beaten pretty badly here. If he can muster up what's necessary to get that sweep and regain some control of this ground. Continue with the short elbows.
Yep, solid frames, staying busy.
That forearm against the throat, that can't be good for your breathing.
No, a lot of pressure there. Goddard calling for more action, or is he telling Teixeira to defend himself? Either way, not a bad directive for either fighter.
Right, but give credit to Hill for playing the intelligent game here. Do you posture up? Do you try to posture up and really go for that huge ground and pound, or do you just maintain positional control in a fight where you're likely winning?
Absolutely. Well, now that he passed his side control, he does have an easier option to detach and get back to the feet if that's where he wants to be. But to your point, yeah, definitely, this is smart. It's not a popular opinion, and it's not awarded by the criteria, so be careful. But I do believe that stalling is a skill, and you see it right here. When you're up on the cards and you have all to lose, that was a skill right there. And now they're back on the feet. 58 seconds to go, folks. Whether you want to kill the clock or get your breath back, stalling at those points does become a skill. But yes, left hook for Teixeira, not much on it.
Just at this point in the fight, on the feet, if you're Hill, you're not going to have the leeway to coast. You're going to have to deal with a wounded animal essentially coming after you with 30 seconds left to win perhaps his last opportunity at UFC Gold.
And he's swinging for it like it's his last opportunity. Man, how can you not respect Teixeira? But the time is running out. 14, 13, 12, 10 seconds left in the fight, folks. Body Teixeira. Big right that misses. 5 seconds.
Hill throwing that right hand, probing the jab out, and
we go the distance, folks. Wow. We're not scoring, but what a performance by Jamal Hill, who may be the latest light heavyweight champion in this crazy lineage that the UFC has going on. And all respect to Teixeira. Wow, what a fight.
That was an amazing fight. Definitely an amazing fight. A fantastic performance by Hill, no matter what the judges say. Teixeira, I mean, the man's a legend for a reason. That was one of the toughest, just grittiest performances of recent memory.
Hill emotional, man, and he deserves to be. A lot was thrown at him in this short time. This was a short notice assignment for both of them, folks, and he was not expecting to be here. This was a big jump for him.
Very, very big jump, and to do it in the fashion that he did, not only short notice, but short notice in Brazil against a Brazilian legend. Short notice in Brazil against a Brazilian legend in the main event. If you just, everything that you just add up, it just paints a much more complex picture. Just Hill deserves a ton of credit for showing up and performing the way he did tonight.
Absolutely. Giving respect to Glover, you love to see it. Of course, Glover must be disappointed, but Glover is the best sportsman, man. It doesn't matter what happens. He's all class. Real curious what they say in these post-fight interviews.
Yeah, I'll try to turn my volume up a little bit so I can get some insight into them.
Let's see if I can cheat. Wow. Glover giving him more props.
Well-deserved props.
Wow. We all feel, I feel for my guy Glover too, for sure. Ghost fam, I feel you there. Oh man, it's over. Yep. Dana Red, I had to stop watching, but I hope Glover retires. He made a great account for himself, but I'll be honest, even knowing what was at risk and understanding it, a little tough time watching him take all that damage, to be honest. So I feel you there, Dana Red, if that was your sentiment. He'll be interviewed by DC now.
From to get to this, it's not real. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with the new champion, Jamal Hill.
Wow, Jamal Hill really
so
emotional.
He can barely make a word out right now.
Yeah, on his knees crying, and I don't blame him, man.
Based in Grand Rapids, does this. What does this mean to you and your family and your coaches to be the new light heavyweight champion of the world?
Anything's possible. Hard work, dedication, accountability. Don't let nobody tell you nothing. Too many people tried to tell me I couldn't do it. It was impossible. I needed to win in one round. I couldn't go 5. What the fuck you gotta say now?
Jamal, you are now the first Dana White Contender Series guy to become a champion. Does that mean
oh wow, first Contender Series person to become a champion? I really like that.
To earn a contract and now be wearing a UFC title, that has to feel very special.
I had to fight for everything. I had to fight to be here. I had to fight to get this. I had to fight to just live and have a chance. Man, you can do anything if you're willing to fight for it, dog. For real.
Jamal, let's take a look at some of your work.
Wow.
You landed some killer shots on Glover Teixeira. At times you had to wonder what it would take to get this guy out of there. Left head kick after left head kick. Was that the game plan to switch southpaw and hit him with that? Because he seemed surprised.
It was just something that I found on the fly. It was to come out to try to switch up my stances, throw some different looks and some different things at him. The dude is tough as bricks, man. I don't know anybody who would have been able to take what I was throwing and keep going. Like standing in front of him a couple times when he was hurt over here, you hear Mark saying, keep fighting. I was like, God damn it, he is. Shit, he is. He hasn't stopped the whole time. And it's just an honor to share this cage with him, man.
You know,
Nice to see him pay the respects to Glover.
Can Jamal go 5? Is Jamal just a knockout artist? Every question was answered tonight in your performances. You said you don't believe me. Just watch me. Tonight you made everybody stand at attention. What is your message now as the new champion to the rest of the division? Because to me, you are as good as they come, and I'm telling you, it's absolutely real.
Thank you, OG. I appreciate that. And to everybody that's coming, you see where I'm at. Come get some.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the new UFC light heavyweight champion, Jamal Hill.
Yeah, I don't know. And the crazy thing is, even though I picked Glover, again, I gave Hill more credit than a lot of people did. But I also said that Glover is probably one of his tougher matchups because I would pick Hill even before this against Prochazka and Ankalaev, which sounded crazy to a lot of people. But I feel that sounds a lot less crazy now. And Glover get interviewed now.
The speed was there. I told Poitin, I felt great in this fight. I did everything right. Eu posso falar português? Tô falando. Pô, desculpa aí, galera. O cara tá perguntando em português. O cara tá perguntando em inglês. Eu falei, não, eu disse, muito rápido. E a verdade, eu sou muito forte para a minha saúde, para a minha própria saúde. E é hora de parar, cara. Eu vou botar minhas energias aos caras novos, ao Poitin. Eu acho que o Poitin vai.
That was Glover speaking in Portuguese, giving props to his team.
E depois ele vai subir bem pesado. E com certeza vai ser campeão dessa categoria.
Is that John Hackleman with him also?
Yeah, nice to see him make it out.
Ficar aí, até cair nessa porra aí e acabar. Mas tem round, não tô conseguindo acertar os caras. Velocidade não tá lá mais. Com muita honra, vou aposentar junto com
Oh, he's got his gloves.
eu paro hoje.
Yeah, in reality, I think I'm too tough for my own good, too tough for my own health. I can't keep up anymore.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's the right decision.
energy.
Good job,
Now
Glover.
let's put it on Poitin. He's going to keep his belt for a while.
Oh, he's in a moment with his wife.
It's an honor to put the gloves down on the same night as Shogun. I wish we were in the horse racing.
Who is
area.
that dude with the glasses and the blue blazer there? He just looks like the total since the UFC made a sale, like crony. As I probably just canceled myself out of a bunch of jobs. But I'm also curious with that.
I just guess he was a manager or some type.
I don't know. He just gives me a weird vibe. Clearly.
Esse cara vai sair comigo. Eu quero que vocês respeitem. Vamos mostrar o nosso carinho na derrota também.
You guys, I saw you guys were throwing popcorn and drinks at the last champion. I want you to respect him. He's going to walk back with me. He's the champion.
Wow.
Wow.
What class. Glover's
That
the
was
fucking
classy
man.
as hell.
The fucking man. Wow.
Now that's
Again.
yeah.
I think he can retire as the all-time sportsman champion of the UFC. I mean, any better sportsman than that guy?
I can't think of that was beyond maturity right there. That was amazing.
Use his time to give props to his team, make a responsible decision, and look out for his opponent. Like that, no one ever does any of those things in MMA. Come on, he's like doing it all in his last moment and stuff. Like, wow. Hill, of course, paying respect to his team. Oh, you love to see that, man. You love to see that. Wow.
That was, yeah.
A tremendous legacy that likelihood will end in the UFC Hall of Fame. I know he wanted to get that Yuri Prochazka fight back, but he said it himself. Too tough for his own.
Too tough for his own. Wow.
Did have a takedown in
Well, it was tough as a Teixeira fan, admittedly. Didn't matter about any bets or picks. Just as a fan of the man to see him lose. But I hope he sticks to that retirement call, man. Wow, and what a fight. What a fight.
I don't.
Wow.
I mean, I don't think this sport is going to give you a better send off than that. It
Wow.
just doesn't happen. But I mean, we just saw Shogun go out against you know, someone who didn't get a win on the Contender Series and get finished in his home country. You know, this is the best send off that you can hope to have at this age, competing at this level in the sport of mixed martial arts. It just doesn't happen.
I almost wonder if
like
that's
that.
what has to happen sometimes. So I know I totally get what you're saying, obviously, but I just will say I wonder if it almost has to happen. You have to have these old dogs just get brutalized sometimes to get them out of there. You know, I hate seeing it, but it's just like the circle of life kind of a deal, right? You know, that whole that whole thing there. Hopefully, I didn't broadcast too loud to get pulled with anything. That wasn't even fight commentary broadcast, so that shouldn't ring any bells, and it's mixed with a bunch of noise between me and Ant here, so hopefully we don't get caught by any BS algorithm snags. This has been fun with all you guys. Man, what an ending, Dana Red says. Yes, what an ending indeed. Him and Shogun on the same night, right? Right? Ghost Phantom.
Right.
Dan, I describe Yuri as a dude with a sword swinging it around and saying, what could go wrong? Oh, that. Yeah, that is kind of who he is. Yeah, I agree. First contender guy to be a champion. Yeah, that surprised me too, Jerry Harper. That surprised me too. I thought we were going to get it a couple years ago back with maybe Alex Perez, but no, that was definitely not meant to be. Figueiredo, of course, who won that night. Passed his championship on as we saw an end of that series. Wow, what a night indeed. It was crazy. Any takeaways from those last three fights we were privy to there, Ant?
I'm still just marveling over the performance that Jamal Hill put on. That was exactly the opposite of what I thought he was going to be able to do. He showed himself to be a technical fighter more so than he ever has in the UFC, and that he answered the big lights in Brazil, in enemy territory, essentially, the way he did. Hats off to Jamal Hill for that performance. Hats off to Glover Teixeira. This was a main event to remember.
Yeah, man, it certainly was. Wow, it certainly was. Definitely a main event to remember. I'm glad we finally pulled the trigger on this for a pay-per-view. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We are going to be sharpening these. I know I got a lot of stuff to do on my end, especially this next week and before I start tackling these projects like this. But I really wanted to get this out. Really want to link up with my guy, Ant Walker. And, if you guys, whether it's in the chat, in the comment section, I wasn't able to monetize this or anything like that, but you know what's just as good is feedback, shares, likes, all that stuff. As far as the feedback goes, let me know what you guys think about these things going forward. If you're listening in the future, as far as the audio podcast tracks, let me know if you like this as a feature. You know, even if it's not like that big of a deal, you're not sure you're gonna maybe like listen to all of them. Is it a cool option to have to make out of these things? Again, all that feedback is welcome, and I just appreciate you guys being here. Anything before we get out of here, Ant? The floor is yours, sir.
Definitely, Dan. Want to thank you for opening up the door for me to join you tonight. I can't wait to do this with you again. This was fun. This it reinvigorates my love of the sport of mixed martial arts. I love this stuff, and when you can get involved with it in any kind of new way, just sign me up. I'm always there for that. Of course, check out my Twitter, Ant Walker MMA. You can find my YouTube channel, The Walkout Network, as well. A weekly podcast goes up there, usually posted every Tuesday, called The Living Death Show with my former colleagues at Sherdog, Jay Petrie, and Ben Duffy. So we'll be talking all about the aftermath of UFC 283 and whatever other foolishness happens in this so-called sport that we love so much. So I'm looking forward to it. And Dan, you got to get on the show too. So we will be in contact about when you're jumping on the pod. And yeah, can't wait to do this again with you, my man.
I'd be more than happy to chop it up with you guys. I saw Jay post he's going to be going to the ABC boxing conference. out here.
Yes.
I want to try to make it to that too. So hopefully I can meet that guy in person as well.
Me as well.
Nice. Yes.
That's the goal. So we'll see what the household situation is looking like. But
Okay.
I'm hoping to make it to Vegas for that as well.
My man. Well, we'll be in contact. Of course, we'll let you guys know what's up in regards to that and all those things. Be sure to go follow my guy Ant Walker. You see the name tag down there at Ant Walker MMA. In case you forgot any of those plugs, just go find him there. I guarantee you he'll be popping off, sharing, plugging, all those things on that feed. That's where I follow him. That's where you can follow me at Dan Tom MMA, the show at the PYN Podcast on all social platforms. Be sure to like this video if you haven't already. Again, thank you guys for your support. Hopefully I can knock out some bugs. There was like a bunch of stuff. It was just kind of a crazy week. So hopefully the content, at least help you guys out. I know it was, I'll get to the gambling recaps later on another show and online. I know it was an L for your boy here. So hopefully you made out better than me. Maybe it's good that I'm not monetized because I definitely don't deserve any tips tonight. But I appreciate you guys joining me nonetheless. We'll be back at it for the next fight week and beyond. So until next time, be well and always protect your neck.